guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show, new hours of operation, now 9 until noon, Monday through Friday, right here. Thanks to all of you who are part of it with us on the launch of our new, well, it's not our new show, it's our new hours. And look, we said we're doing this because of you guys. We're growing this show because you guys have been so amazing the first 9 weeks of helping us get the word out. You have been just beyond belief at helping us get this thing launched. I was talking with some people yesterday about that, and they just said, man, it's amazing what you guys have done. I said, absolutely. It's because of our super loyal audience. A huge thank you as well to John Rust, who's made it possible for us to grow to that third hour. All right, we got a ton to get to today. That's why we're doing this show for 3 hours, right? That's why we added the extra hour. There's just too much content. But before we do that, couple of announcements. Number one, thanks as always to the amazing people over the weekend who hit the support button at robkendallshow.com. All of you who have stepped up, who have been a part of that with us for the past 9 weeks, hundreds and hundreds of people saying, hey, love what you do, want to be a part of it, support button at robkendallshow.com. Steve Green with an E, chat superstar. Joe, Lee, and Jan, just to name a few, thanks to you guys who hit our support button at robkendallshow.com. And speaking of robkendallshow.com, if you haven't been there, check it out. We got the live feed there. We've got all the on-demand platforms where you can hear us, Apple and Spotify, all the places. We've got articles that we post each day from some of our favorite segments right there at robkendallshow.com. And, of course, that support button. Thanks to each of you who have been a part of that with us. Other than that, before we get to the program, the daily reminder to like, share, and subscribe our feed. That's right. That's how you can help us grow. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. First of all, hit that thumbs up button. Get it in early. Right now, if you're hearing my voice, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you like the feed. If you're an Apple or Spotify person, if you're listening on demand, give us that 5-star review. That really helps us out. Share the feed. If you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, tell people we're now 3 hours a day starting at 9 a.m. Share the feed right there. And last but certainly not least, and I know many of you have already done that. Most of you hearing my voice have already done this. But if you haven't, subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever you're listening, the Apple, the Spotify, all of the places. Okay, big announcements coming tomorrow. I know you guys are like, big announcement? Didn't we just do a big announcement with the show going to 9 to noon? Yes, we did. But you guys have asked for it. We're going to do a live show. We've been telling you about this for a while. Just had to get everything kind of figured out. And we're doing this live show as a thank you to all of you who have helped us grow this program. You guys have been so amazing the past 9 weeks, and you guys have built your own community here. It's been awesome to see people who become friends, people who've started getting together, people who've gotten to know each other. And so we said, because many of you asked, would you do another live show? We said, sure. But if we do it, we want to do it as a tribute to you, our super loyal Rob Kendall Show audience. We finally have everything ironed out. We've tried to make it super affordable, just as a way you guys can get together, get to meet some of the people in person that you interact with in the chat. And you guys said you wanted this live show, so we're going to need you to step up. We'll have the big announcement tomorrow about the live show, how you can get tickets, where it's going to be, when it's going to be, all of the things coming up tomorrow here on the program. And one other announcement, the merch. We have all the merch. Jason's books are in. If you were one of the fine, kind people who supported our show a couple weeks ago when we had that little merch giveaway we were going to tie into it, Jason's books are here. He's signing them today. I'm sending the merch out tomorrow. I've done my part. It's all packed up. It's all ready to go. Merch is going out tomorrow. From there, well, it's in the hands of the post office. We're not accountable for the post office, but the merch is going out tomorrow. All right, that's all of the housekeeping I had. Let's get to the program. And I want to start with a back and forth I had with someone who works in a county assessor's office. Now, you guys know nobody over the past really 2 years has been more vocal, more adamant that you are getting screwed on property taxes than me. And you guys know last year it didn't work out the way we wanted, but nobody fought harder to try to fix this issue than me. And I've felt this way about property taxes for 20 years now. When I was an elected official, it was my number one priority. It's the thing I'm most proud of. is that I cut property tax rates every year I was in elected office, including the largest municipal property tax rate reduction in the history of the state of Indiana. And I'm so proud of that, and because you own your home. The home is yours. You bought it, not the government. And it just enrages me that through property taxes, the government has a forever lien on your home. Think about that. The government always has some tie to your house. Like the government does, if you own stock in Walmart, government doesn't always have ties to your stock. The government doesn't tax you every year on the stock if you're not capitalizing on it, if you're not making money on it. And yet with property taxes, every year you have to pay, by the way, it's whatever the government says, with really no recourse whatsoever, other than you can appeal it. You can ask them, hey, did you make a mistake? But at the end of the day, if the property tax appeals board or the county assessor's office doesn't side with you, you're screwed. And if you don't pay it, you can lose your home. And that's wrong. It's horribly wrong. And it is just insane to me that somebody can live in a house for 40 or for 50 years, be a stable part of their community, be a positive influence on their community, keep their house looking nice, keep their house maintained, keep the weeds cut, keep the grass cut, and all they get is punished every single year. While some person who may live in a house for 5 years, cash out, make money, and leave. And when I say leave, I'm not even talking about leaving the street or leaving the town. They can leave the state. They make a bunch of money, and their little parting gift to you is, oh, your taxes went up. Well, I sold my house for more. Your taxes went up. It's wrong. It's disgusting. And I have fought and fought and fought on this. And, you know, one of the people that I realized as I had this little interaction with over the weekend that I've really given a free pass to are the county assessors. Because the county assessors, and look, I've been following Indiana politics and government pretty close now for about 20 years. And I got to thinking I think this was on Friday I posted this. You know, in my 20 years of following this, and really the property tax rebellion of 2007 is when I really started paying attention. I was a college kid at the time, and I remember reading in the Star and the IBJ and all these places about the property tax rallies that started taking place in 2007. And I remember seeing these people, and I remember going, what's that all about? What's going on? Like, I didn't, I was voted. I was, I went, I did my quote unquote obligation, but I didn't have any idea what was going on locally. I was one of those people who thought I was doing my part because I was voting for the white hats, right? I was voting for the Republicans. Hey, I'm doing my part. And it was watching these people, come out in 2007 on the property tax rebellion across the state of Indiana. A lot of it was here in the city of Indianapolis. But I remember seeing those people going, you know what, they're right. Why does the government have some forever lien on somebody's home? Why is somebody indebted to the government for something the government didn't have anything to do with them purchasing or paying off? Why can a local government just arbitrarily just say your house is worth whatever and now you have to pay it? And that is really where I began paying attention to government here in Indiana. My passion, what would become a lifelong passion about local government, really started. And so going all the way back, almost 20 years now, I began thinking to myself on Friday, I thought, I never remember any sort of organized effort from our county assessors to push back on this horribly rotten system. The system is flawed beyond words. You don't make any money off your house. You don't sell your house. You don't capitalize on your house. Yet you not only get taxed on it, but you get taxed more on it every year if some person does make money. Can you imagine if you own stock in Tesla and you're like, hey, it's part of my portfolio. I'm holding on Tesla. And Tesla goes up and Tesla goes down. But your neighbor He decides, hey, he's also in on Tesla. And so he sells his Tesla stock. He makes his money. Okay, tax that person. I don't have an issue with that. But then you get punished. You get taxed based on him selling his Tesla stock when you didn't sell yours. It's insane. It's absolutely insane, but that's how we do property taxes in Indiana. When you get your bill, they tax on what I call, I don't know the exact word they use, but like properties. On mine, there's a little QR code, and they'll tell you what properties they went off of, what sales took place on your home that they judged what your property taxes should be. But I didn't sell my home. Doesn't matter. And in the almost 20 years I've been following this, I never remember an organized effort from the assessors who are in charge of implementing this system in some sort of loud, unified voice, going to the State House, having events, anything, saying the system's crap. Now, a couple years ago on the old radio show, we had the Tippecanoe County assessor who came on and said the system's crap, appeal your assessments. I basically said, not that I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing, right? Because the system is so screwy, nobody really knows, so appeal it. He was begging people to appeal the assessments. But other than a couple of individuals here or there, I never remember our county assessors in any sort of vocal, unified voice standing up for us. And I said, well, why do I keep giving them a free pass? If you call your county assessor and appeal your property tax bill, there's a good chance privately they'll tell you, hey, it's kind of a rotten system. Hey, yeah, this is pretty screwed up. Hey, we wish it were different. I mean, I have at informal, I guess you'd call them, appeals on my property taxes for the last 4 or 5 years. A couple times, the assessment was way off. And to those people's credit, they fixed it, but they wouldn't have if I didn't call. Like, can you also imagine a tax system where your Tesla stock gets taxed wrong? Like the other guy sells his stock. Not only do you get taxed for it, but the government screws up the formula. Like that's the way our property tax system works. You've got to prove they screwed up. You've got to take your time, your effort to prove they screwed up. Now, the assessors, they're overworked and they're understaffed. There's going to be huge amounts of mistakes. But this system has been so bastardized. There's no way it can be implemented properly. You can't even implement the screwed up system properly. And so I began thinking to myself, I was like, why do I give the assessors a free pass on this? If they really believe the things that they'll tell you on the phone about how screwed up the system is, about how wrong the system is, about how hard to monitor or implement the system is, why aren't they speaking up? Why aren't they speaking out? I mean, I'm seeing people, like I told you guys, my assessment went up a little bit over $12,000 this year. I'm not selling my home. I have no plans to sell my home. I'm not going to make any money off of my home. I'm losing money being in my home. Hi, welcome to Brownsburg. Welcome to the community. Welcome to Greenwood. Welcome to Avon. Welcome to Fishers. You're going to get taxed more every year for being a stable member of society. And yet my tax bill's probably going to go up about $120 next year. Did my government get $120 better? I can assure you, living in Brownsburg, it did not. I can assure you it didn't. But I'll pay $120 more. And then I'm pissed off about that. But then I see, somebody got a $50,000 assessment increase. $50,000 increase, which means their property tax bill going to go up $500. That's insane. I have a friend who lives in Zionsville who said his property tax bill went up his assessment went up $50,000. So he's going to pay $500 more in property taxes, which will wipe out the $300 decrease that he got from Braun and the Republicans. Again, I remind you, if you'd like to do a favor for old Rob and you live in the Hendricks County area, Jeff Thompson's up for re-election this year in the primary as a primary competitor. If he's on your ballot, vote against him. I know nothing about the woman who's running against him, but he was the architect of the property tax bill. Vote him out. And we'll talk here in just a minute about the people running for office and what you probably have an obligation to do this year if you actually want to see meaningful change. So I posted this. I was like, I'm done giving the assessors a free pass. I'm done saying it's okay that you just go, well, it's a horrible system. I'm sorry. But we have to do what the state says. I'm done with that. And so I posted this thing, and I didn't say anybody was a bad person. I didn't say that they were being malicious. I didn't say that they were out to screw everybody. I just said they're okay with the system. They clearly, if you don't speak up, if you're an elected government official and you know the system in place is screwing people over, they'll admit it to you on the phone. And by the way, I don't know if yours were this way when you got your assessments. I got some Dickens novel that was written to me about the process and the this and the that, and they're going to have listening sessions. And I'm like, if you're not going to stand up and fight for me, I don't give a damn about your listening session. Like in Hendricks County, they're going to have, I think, 4 listening sessions. Listen to what? Me bitch at you about a screwed up system that you won't fight back on? I want somebody that's going to go to bat for me. I don't know about you guys. I'm sick of the lip service. I'm sick of people, quote unquote, listening and then not doing anything. I don't need you to hear me bitch anymore. I need you to fight for me. This is why we remain so popular. Somebody told me this the other day. They said, my wife used to be an avid, this is when we still had the old radio show, said my wife used to be an avid public broadcasting listener. And then she found you and she started listening to WIBC. You know, this person, they said they've since left because we're not there anymore. But they said they started listening to WIBC solely because of you, because you were willing to call everyone out. You were willing to take both sides and say, when a bad public policy existed, be it done by Republican or Democrat, this is wrong. And in the case of, that's why this show, that's why we've been able to bounce back the way we did, because people aren't getting this anywhere else. We're going to a third hour because you're not getting it in the mainstream. You're not getting it with the people with the platform. I don't know why they're scared. I don't know why members of the media are scared to fight for you. I don't know. I don't know when they have these politicians on the phone or sitting next to them. They don't look at them and go, what the hell? I don't know why they let them off the hook. It's great for our business model. Look, I wish we didn't have a business model. But we exist. We have been able to do this. We've been able to bounce back because the people in the media with the big platforms, they're not fighting for you. Just like the politicians aren't fighting for you. So I post this thing on Facebook and Twitter, and I just said I'm just done giving the assessors a free pass. Again, it doesn't say that they're horrible humans. It didn't say they're bad people. It's just they're weak. Or they believe in the system. Right? Those are the only two options. If you're not doing anything about it and you're an elected official and you have a voice and you have power, and if you're the assessor, you're causing the property tax increase. Like, what if the assessor just said, nah, I'm not doing that. Everybody's staying the same. Who would bitch other than the government? Like, who would be screaming about this? Yeah, that assessor, she was too nice to the homeowners. That assessor, he gave too much leeway to the property taxpayers. They're okay with the system if they do the thing and they don't object to it. And across our state, other than a just handful of very select people, no one in an assessor's office seems to publicly be fighting for us. So I post this thing, and this woman who works in the assessor's office just goes ballistic on me on Facebook. And I told her, I said, lady, you clearly know enough about me to know getting lippy on social media is the wrong place. Why don't you fight for us the way you're fighting at me on Facebook? Instead of, as a person who claims to work in an assessor's office, instead of getting mad at the radio guy or the broadcast, what am I now? YouTuber guy, the podcaster guy. That's what I am. I'm the podcaster guy. Instead of getting mad at the podcaster guy for going, hey, this is a crappy ass system that's screwing everyone and people are hurting and something's got to be done to fix this. Instead of being mad at me for pointing out the obvious and also pointing out how the assessor's office have a role to play in this, they're not innocent victims. Maybe do some self-reflection and go, damn it, he's right. And we do need to be more vocal about this. We do need to organize for the people. You're mad at me for pointing it out? That shows exactly what I've been saying, which is the assessors' offices, by and large, the people who work in there are okay with the system. If you're more mad at the guy, the podcaster, on his social media for pointing out what's going on, rather than the crummy system itself, I guarantee you this person had not written anything close to what she wrote to me, and it kept going. She kept going. Every time I would respond, she would respond back. How about you take that passion and direct it to 200 West Washington Street, lady? For those of you who don't know, that's the Indiana State House. How about you use that passion that you're having, being pissed off at me for pointing out the crummy system, and direct it towards getting Jeff Thompson, who helped write the crummy system, out of office? We screamed about this last year. We screamed about it the year before. We screamed about it the year before that. Until the assessment system that we operate on is burned to the ground, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to get any better. It is ridiculous beyond words that you are taxed based on what some other person sold his or her house for. It cannot continue. And if you're in an assessor's office, if you're not speaking out, if you're not standing up for us, you are part of the problem, and you're okay with the system. Hey, let's talk about Double D's Barbecue for a second. Thank you to the many of you who have checked out Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. I know several people went out over the weekend, in fact. There was a little mini get-together. Our old pal C. Mills was there. Ethan Hatcher was there. A couple other people. Man, owners Tina and Dennis Duncan, along with their son Garrett, they own Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, so plenty of time for you guys to make your plans to get out there this week. And when it comes to barbecue, they're from Memphis, so they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food, made fresh daily, made from scratch. Make their own sauces. And you guys can make your plans based around the specials. They have amazing specials. Wednesday, wing day. Thursday, loaded jumbo baked potato. Friday and Saturday, Mississippi farm-raised catfish. That real catfish, not that crap you get from the store. All of their specials are located on their Facebook page. Just put Double D Southern Barbecue into your Facebook browser for all the information. And make a plan to go this week. Do something different. Eat something different. You know, people are always like, oh, I'm tired of the same stuff. This is your opportunity. Double D's Barbecue, located near 40 and 39 in Clayton. Easy to get to. Wednesday through Saturday, their days of operation. Get the full menu, ribs, brisket, and a whole bunch more at ddbbq317.com, ddbbq317.com. All right, we're off. We're running. We've got a ton of stuff to get to today, including when we come back, there's amazing numbers about how all this money, we're always told there's never enough money in education. There's never enough money being thrown in the public education system. We're going to give you some data that's going to floor you on how money, it means absolutely nothing. We'll give you the facts to back it up. When we come back, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, representing the Wabash Valley by listening and never compromising our shared values. That's why I'm the only Senate candidate endorsed by Indiana Right to Life, the NRA, Indiana Realtors, professional firefighters, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. These endorsements are from the good people from Indiana and for Indiana, a sign of trust that I have built and results that you can count on. I'm Senator Greg Good, and I respectfully ask for your vote in the Indiana Republican primary.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Look, here's the deal. If you're watching us on the YouTube, we are a work in progress. We got a bunch of stuff done with the studio over the weekend. Let me rephrase that. Jason got a bunch of stuff done with the studio over the weekend. Oh, and Ethan is coming tonight to help us out. Ethan Hatcher, Saturday night on The Circle. And a bunch of stuff got done. We're not quite where we want to be yet. It's a work in progress, right? And so we're still playing with different cameras. You may notice I look a little closer to the screen than I did last segment. It's all a big work in progress. And that's the cool thing. We're doing it all together. We're all a part of it here together. We're growing this program together. And man, we just can't thank you guys enough who have been a part of it with us. Let people know that we're now going to 3 hours. That 9 until noon. Now, each weekday right here. Rob Kendall Show. We're also on Apple. We're on Spotify, on the on-demands. Let people know if they can't check us live, catch us there. You guys have been so great at helping us grow this program. Get the word out, expand the numbers. We can't do it without you guys. Just a reminder, if you haven't done so yet, hit the thumbs up button. Like the show, like the feed. If you're watching us live on YouTube, that really does help us grow this program. And we are just totally beholden to you guys, right? We've never tried to kid you guys about what we are or what we're doing. We're just a little two-man operation here. And we believe in you. We believe you'll help us grow. We believe you'll support us. You guys have done just beyond words since day one. And so now we're doing this 3 hour thing, and we're going to need you guys to help us do that. Number one thing you can do, hit that thumbs up button and then share the feed. If you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, let people know we're here. This is what we're doing. Second thing, mentioned earlier, new people coming in. We're going to have a live show. We've been working on it. It's just so much going on, guys. Like, I can't even begin to express. Like, it's just so many moving parts, so many fast things happening. We have a live show. We're putting this together as a thank you to you guys. You guys said, hey, we'd love to have this. We said, okay, we'll do it. We've tried to make it super affordable for everyone. We want to make it a great experience for you. We're going to tell you about the live show coming up tomorrow. And we really need you guys to The venue we're working with, we said, we think our audience will deliver. We think they'll come through. And so we need you guys to be a part of that with us coming up here. We'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Hey, let's talk about Seal Now. Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt. You guys know what I'm talking about. It can all cause damage that can result in an expensive repair. Cut that off at the pass. Call our guys at Seal Now. SealNow.com. SealNow.com. They do it all. They're the clean, seal, and stain professionals, and they can help you with just about any outdoor surface. They do more than just concrete, too. They do outdoor decks, fences, pergolas, pretty much any outdoor structure, wood or concrete. They can clean it. They can maintain it. They can help put it back together. They do it all. And the great thing about Seal Now, no surprises. They'll give you a totally free estimate. Tell them what you want to have done. They'll take a look at it, and then they'll say, okay, we can do that. We can make that happen. And it's really that simple. Go to sealnow.com, SealNow.com, or you can call today for more information, 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. And not only do you get that free estimate, if you tell Seal Now you heard about them on our show, you're going to get 20% off any long-term sealing project. What a deal, right? You need the service anyway. We might as well get 20% off. Just say you heard about it on the Rob Kendall Show. SealNow.com. Okay, so I saw this, and this is super interesting to me. The Hill had a fascinating article about how there is zero proof that the more money you throw at public education, the better results you get. And while we're going to talk about some national results, some different states, I've made this argument for years in Indiana. Public education isn't about the amount of money. And that's really true for government as a whole. It's really true for government as a collective, that it's not about the amount of dollars, it's about how you utilize the dollars. You think about in the state of Indiana, we did math on this, right? And you've got roughly, give or take, right? What's a few $1 billion amongst friends? But let's do the math, right? So in the state of Indiana, we have a $44 billion biennial budget. Biennial means 2-year budget. So you cut that in half, it's basically $22 billion a year. Roughly, this is from the state, roughly half of that goes to public education. $11 billion a year of our state money goes to public education, roughly. And keep in mind, state money is not property tax money. That's a whole nother bucket, right? So on top of the 11-ish billion we're kicking to education in Indiana, basically half of all property tax dollars go to education. Some communities a little more, some a little less. You can basically round it off in the middle and say half. There was about $9 billion. Now, this was last year, so it's probably higher now. But when we were having the property tax debate last year, J.D. Prescott had pulled those numbers. He's a state rep, and he came up with like $9 billion in property tax dollars. So cut it in half, that's $4.5 billion, probably more. Let's just round it up and say 5. Roughly $5 billion of property tax dollars goes to public education. Think about that. $11 billion from the state, $5 billion from property taxes. And then you've got the federal money, the grants, et cetera, that come in. You put it all together, you probably have somewhere close to, or maybe even a little more than $20 billion every year in this state going to education. But we're told it's not enough. We're told we're harming the kids. And this is the thing I've always asked. I've asked it in my community. I've asked it at the state level. Okay, you say we're not giving enough to public education. What's the number? Anytime someone makes that argument with you, just look at them and say, okay, well, what's the number? Well, it's not enough. Okay, what's the number? They won't give you a number because it's never enough. That's the answer. It's never enough. No matter how much you give, it won't be enough. So why give in on anything? You ever have that person in your life where no matter what you do for them, it's never good enough? Like no matter what you give them or bring to them or sacrifice for them, it's just never enough? I think we all know people like that. That's the public education people. The results don't matter. You just somehow hate kids if you don't give in to whatever they say, even though there's no rhyme or reason or end to what they say. They won't tell you what's enough because it's never enough. That's the answer. It's never enough. Okay, so The Hill has this article where they tracked how much money each state spends on education per kid. And then they tried to track, they used a formula based on scores at the 8th grade level in reading and math. So they said, okay, how much does each state spend per kid? And then let's track the results in reading and math. The number one state in the union per kid is New York. Roughly $38,000, just a little bit under $38,000 per kid. And at the 8th grade level, they're not in the top 10 in reading or math. $38,000-ish, a little bit less, per kid. And they're not in the top 10 in reading or math. Number 2, Washington, D.C. $34,000 plus per kid. And they're not in the top 10 in reading or math. In fact, when it came to math scores, 6 of the top 10 states were outside of the top 25 in spending. 6 of the top 10 states were outside of the top 25 in spending. In reading, 4 of the top 10 states were outside of the top 25, including Idaho, which was dead last. Idaho, if you include, so they're including Washington, D.C. in this formula, was 51st, and they were inside the top 10. Indiana, by the way, ranked 38th in spending. As much as we bitch about spending, they are only 38th. Some states are way worse. And it does crack the top 10 at number 6 when it comes to reading. Not in math, but they're in the top 10 at number 38. And so when you look at this data that The Hill has compiled, you see very clearly that there's no tie to the amount of money spent on public education and the results. I mean, look at the state of Indiana and the grading scale. There's only a handful of schools that by the grading system put in place by public education, which, right, you got to get 60% in order to pass. There's only like a handful of schools that even get above 60% in the entire state. Look at all the stuff they have. Where I live in Brownsburg, we have 2 football fields. We have 4 field houses. We have just the best of everything. And Brownsburg is one of the few that can get above that 60% threshold. Not by much. But this has always been my argument. Show me where the suffering is. Show me where the harm is to the children. The answer is there is none. But what the public education system has figured out is that they can strong-arm lawmakers, elected officials, into doing what they want because they'll use children as human shields. Look, people can see through BS in their own life, but they put blinders on when it comes to their kids. People see how bad government is everywhere but with their children because they want everything for their kids. I have a kid. I understand that. I have a soon-to-be 3-year-old. I get it. But it doesn't mean that I'm willing to look at the obvious, which is that the government at all levels can do better with our money. We don't, and this is true at all levels of government. We're talking about education right now. We don't have a revenue problem. We have an allocation of revenue and an accountability problem. How can the state of Indiana possibly, with a $44 billion biennial budget, $44 billion plus, ever ask for more money for anything? Look at the core functions of government that they're supposed to do. And how could you possibly say $44 billion isn't enough to pull it off? And yet, what do we see? $6.5 billion in tax increases proposed by Braun on I-70. $700+ million of new taxes coming now to the I-80 toll. Every year, property taxes go up big time. The gas tax goes up every single year. Wheel taxes, all of this stuff. And it's never enough money. No matter how much money you give the government, it's never enough. And this survey, this study from The Hill, which is a very, very well done, you can go see it for yourself, shows there's zero correlation between more money in public education and the actual results. Hey, guys, don't leave your biggest investment to chance. If you're like, hey, I am out of this state, the property taxes are out of hand, I gots to go. Make sure you sell your home with the pro. How about that for a transition? Huh? How about that for a transition? If you say I gots to go, call our friend Lauren Wilson with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren understands selling or buying a home, that's a big life change. And you need somebody that is invested in you. Not just invested in a transaction, but invested in you. Getting you in the right place. That's where Lauren Wilson comes in. She's a Hoosier lifer. She's a military vet. And she wants to get to know you, to put you in the right place. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. All right, let's talk a little bit about this new ABC poll that came out on Trump and the economy. It's not good, and it reinforces things we have been talking about since Trump got inaugurated for a second term. So let's work through some of the numbers, and then we'll talk about what we're seeing here. And again, I say this as someone who voted for Trump. I voted for Trump 3 times. I want Trump to succeed. I want all of us to succeed. I want our country to succeed. And I just think when I see things that are obvious, we have an obligation to talk about it, whether we like the person in office or not. So according to this ABC News poll, 62% of Americans disapprove of the job the president's doing. That's down 2 percentage points since February. So as we have talked about for months and months and months, even dating back to last year with the old radio show, it's a bad trend for the president. You have to think of, and I know many of you longtime listeners, viewers know this, but you have to think about polling as a snapshot of a moment in time, and it's like the old way they used to make cartoons where you just draw a bunch of pictures and then you flip the thing and it makes the character move. That's polling. You can't just take one drawing and say, okay, well, that's what it is. You have to look at the flip book moving over a period of time. And the reality is Trump and that flip book has moved in the wrong direction for the first year and a half he's been in office. So the 62% say they disapprove of the job he's doing. 72% disapprove of how Trump has handled inflation. I have been screaming about this since they introduced the idea of that big, beautiful bill a year and a half ago. He said, this is not going to help Trump. The issue is the price of everything. The issue is what everything costs. And everything else Trump is doing should be centered around fixing the cost, the rising cost of everything. Anything he does that does not help lower cost is going to be a detriment to him. By the way, that 72% disapproval rating on inflation is a 7-point increase from 2 months ago. That's a big swing. That is not good for the president. 76% disapprove of how Trump is handling the cost of living. I kind of put inflation and cost of living in there together, and they're pretty close in terms of the numbers. When you look at the tariffs, so part of, and you guys know this, part of making decisions is not only is it the right decision to make overall, like in the long term, but is it the right decision in the moment for what's right in front of you? I had a conversation with a local government official the other day about a tough issue that this person is facing. And there's the long-term ramifications of what this person does, and there's the short-term ramifications of what this person does. And we were working through both of those things, and the short-term benefit may ultimately harm his long-term vision. But in the short term, the thing that's right in front of him, it's going to be immensely helpful for all the taxpayers. And I told this person, I said, governing is sort of like parenting. you can long-term plan all you want, but you're sort of judged on how you put out the fire that's right in front of you. Like if your house burns down, it doesn't matter what remodeling plan you have for it, whatever the 5-year plan is to mulch the property. If the house burns down, those plans don't matter. And I told this person, I said, you have to address the issue that's right in front of you that will help the taxpayers. You can deal with your long-term plan in the long term. But if everyone's taxes go up, if everyone is angry at you, you may not even be in the office to enact your long-term plan. And I feel that way with Trump and the tariffs. I was all on board with the Mexico-Canada stuff because they gave a very clear directive. This is about stopping dangerous drugs from coming into our country. We need Mexico and Canada's cooperation to stop fentanyl and other dangerous drugs from killing our young people. I said, okay. I'm willing to endure a little pain when there's a clear vision of what we're doing. And in the beginning, I supported that. But then it very quickly turned into every other country on the planet without a clear vision or why or what we were doing. And it was obvious those tariffs were going to increase the cost of everything, which they have. I think that's an example of Trump having this long-term vision of, hey, we need to even the score here, right? Like we need to level the playing field. We need to bring these jobs back here. We need to have fair trade deals. None of that's wrong, but it's not the fire that's right in front of you. The fire that was right in front of you is right in front of you is that people can't afford food at the grocery store. People can't afford to buy necessities. Every time they go buy something, it feels like they get kicked in the junk, no matter what it is. Other than bananas, for some reason, bananas have remained relatively even on their price. I know Livy eats a lot of bananas. But most stuff, yikes. By the way, if somebody knows why the bananas seem to be the one thing they're inflation-proof, or they're just more banana trees than ever before, let me know. I would love to know that. And just a reminder, even though we're 3 hours now, we're still going to do the YouTube chat. We're just going to read the best comments of the day towards the end of the show. You do have to be a subscriber in order to comment. It's a great community of people that we have, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Producer Jason will read those comments brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. 66% in this ABC poll said they disapprove of how Trump is handling the Iran war. That was, and don't take this the wrong way when I say this, because the Iranian government are horrible people. They're the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. They hate us. So all of that being said, the Iran war was a war of choice. Every pain we're feeling right now with Iran is self-inflicted. With the gas prices, self-inflicted. We didn't have to go to war with them when we did. We talked about this, in fact, the first show we did, opening the program. We talked about it being a war of choice. We talked about you have two options with Iran. You can do what Trump's doing, try to obliterate them off the map and start over, or you can, for the most part, ignore them, try to box them in, put economic pressure on them, and just keep prices where they kind of are. Trump chose the second path. Well, then you own that. Ain't no Biden, in the Democrats. You own that. And Trump has done a horrible job of letting the American people know what they're getting out of the pain they're feeling economically. And they're sick of it. American people have given him 2.5 months on this now. Gas is not getting any more affordable. The Iranian conflict doesn't seem to be any closer to a resolution. And even if it does get resolved, people are like, well, what did we get out of it? It's always like the Iranian people, the Iraqi people, the this people, the Ukrainian people. Like, we're always told these people are going to stand up and do something, and then they don't. Mainly because they don't have guns. It's pretty hard to do something when you don't have a gun. But that is wholly self-inflicted by Trump. There's no one to blame but himself. And in a time where, again, what's the fire that's right in front of you? Do you need to do something about Iran at some point? Maybe. But the fire that was right in front of you, that is in front of you, is people are pissed about everything being so costly. And you've just made that much worse. I did a little trick today. I was basically out of gas. And so I said to myself, okay, I'm going to see how far I can get on $10 worth of gas, because I have about as economic of an automobile as you can possibly have. So I was basically down to the final, whatever. You got 5 miles left, 10 miles left, whatever. And so I got $10 worth of gas, and I'm going to see how many times I can get to work and back on $10. I bet it's not going to be more than 2 or 3 times. However, I can't avoid the downtown traffic now, so maybe, be optimistic. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about voting, shall we? Tomorrow's election day. There's all sorts of contested races across the state of Indiana. What are we doing? What are you doing? For those of you who are listening on...
I've been complaining for 2 weeks. There are my books.
For those who are on the listening to us on Apple or Spotify, producer Jason has just taken a large stack of books, has dumped them right in front of me, and these are the books that will be going out to the fabulous people who supported the program a couple weeks ago. We've been very candid about when these books were going to go out. I have OCD. Okay? So to me, the idea, like, when somebody gives money, it's like I got to just do whatever immediately, right? So it's bothered me. I've been sitting there for like 2 weeks now. Everybody knew when it was going out. It's not like people were like rushing to, where is this? Where is this? But it just bothered me. It just really freaking bothered me that I couldn't get them out to people. And so Jason got his books, and like all week long, did you get the books? Did you get the books? Get the books? He's like, shut up. Yes, I got the books. I'll bring the books. So there are the books. You can see them. They'll go out tomorrow. I got to pack the rest of them up today, and everything go out tomorrow. And then it's in the hands of the post office. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about voting, because there's a lot of contested races, these Senate races, some House races, and I want to know what you guys are voting on or what you're voting about. I'll tell you what I voted on and voted about, and I want to see if you guys are in the same camp as me. We'll take a break. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, and I'm here on the Wilson family farm to tell you the truth. Am I allowing China to buy our farmland? No. I'm doing the opposite. I want to kick China's butt, and my record clearly proves it. Some say I'm against Trump. I'm against D.C. insiders trying to scheme away our state and local freedoms. I stand for what is right, regardless of who is in charge in D.C. I stand with you. Do you want a proven leader, a principal, or a political puppet? I ask for your vote on May 5th.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thank you so much for being with us. And yeah, we're a work in progress here. Studio still under renovation. We still got the hostage backdrop there, but man, we're making progress. And that's what this is all about, guys. It's about progress and growth right now. It's why we've added the third hour. Thanks again to John Rust for making it possible for us to have that third hour. And like I said, I had a conversation with the radio vet over the weekend, and they said, man, the show is just growing incredible. I said, yeah. There's a lot of people who are hungry for the truth out there. There's a lot of people that are hungry for somebody to stand up for them, to go to bat for them, to fight for them, talk about local issues. It's always amazed me that nobody has ever stepped into being an all local station or platform or whatever. This was so easy to do because nobody was willing to take advantage of it. And so you guys have been amazing helping us grow. But that's what we're doing. We're in the intense growth phase here. And so we need you guys as we continue to get the word out to people. Hit that thumbs up button, like the show. If you haven't done so yet, share the feed. Let people know. If you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, let people know about it. Just tell your friends. Tell your friends. So many of you guys said, hey, we saw the billboards. And man, yeah, the billboards are awesome. Also, thanks to John Rust for that. And so that's how we're growing this program. One of the other things we'd love to do, if you got a business, if you help run a business, if you make decisions for a business, if you just know people who own businesses, tell them about us. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Sales@robkendallshow.com. We got a couple of our politicians that are going to be falling off after Tuesday. We got some spots we got to fill, and got some of those that are going to be okay, but that's where we want to grow. We also want to use this extra third hour to really promote local business, promote great local merchants. We'd love to partner up with those people. We need your help. Sales@robkendallshow.com. And I had somebody contact me the other day. It was like, I just love what you do. Can I just sponsor your show and you just say my name and say thanks? I was like, yes, we can do that. We would say many, many thanks to you if you're just like, I'd just love to have my own video spot of just me being thanked. Yes, we can also do that. We can do whatever we want here as long as YouTube approves of it, and we are prepared to take full advantage of that. Yes, we can do that. If you have too much money, and you're like, I would just like to give you a bunch of money, we will accept that. But yeah, hit that thumbs up button and let us know. And if you own a business, know a business, of a business, you just want to give us money, we'll take it all. Sales@robkendallshow.com. Okay, speaking of great businesses, Bramwell Mackay. If you got a leaky chimney or water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home, Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement, conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. They don't just offer quick patches. Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that'll last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialists. BramwellMackay.com. Hey, and speaking of people who support the show, want to again thank our fine friend Steve Green with an E, Joe, Lee, and Jan, all hitting the support button over at RobKendallShow.com. Man, that's a great way for you to be able to support what we're doing. $1, $10, whatever it is. We just appreciate everything. The support button there, RobKendallShow.com. Okay. Okay, let's talk about voting for a second, shall we? And I've been thinking a lot about this. Jacob Stewart, our friend at the Indy Star, has a column today about some of the Senate races and the House races and which ones he thinks could have some upsets. What are you voting on? Like, if you've already voted or you're getting ready to vote, whether it's today or tomorrow, what is driving you to go vote? Like, I don't mind saying it. My drive to vote this year is all about just hating the people who are in office. And that sucks. I don't mind telling you guys, that's a really horrible, unmotivated way to vote. Like the two issues that drove me, or the two races that drove me to vote, were Jeff Thompson in the state house to get him out, my state rep, the author of the property tax bill. And guys, look, I don't mind telling you, and I almost never do this. I just loathe Jeff Thompson so much for what he's done to the people of Indiana. I voted for a woman I know nothing about. I looked up whether she had a mugshot in a post office, and was she a card-carrying communist. I actually think this woman that's running against him is pretty liberal. I don't care. Because as a freshman rep, she'll be so far down the totem pole she can't hurt anybody. And she's kind of an outsider, I think. So, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. It sucks, right? Like I was so unhappy about the vote that I cast because it wasn't for her. It was against someone. That sucks. Same thing true with my town council race. You guys know the longstanding loathing I have of Councilman Ben Lacey. It was just a vote against him. I hate you and what you've done to my town. Vote against. So I went and voted. I did my thing. I encourage other people to do it. But it's just it's an uninspiring way to vote. And it's like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, how I feel an obligation to go vote. I got to pick somebody, right? What are you guys voting about? What's driving you? Let us know in the YouTube chat. Tell us, like, is there a race that's getting you to the polls? Are you just doing it out of an obligation? Are you just hey, I've got to go do this? Is there a cause that's moving you? Because one of the things that we have seen play out in these state Senate races, because I was told by somebody, Turning Point USA had another rally for Brenda Wilson in Terre Haute over the weekend, and it was an even bigger dumpster fire than the Scott Pressler stuff. Like there was next to nobody there other than the Turning Point people. And I was telling the person who told me this, I said, well, why would anybody be surprised? Nobody likes Brenda Wilson. She's unlikable. We'll just leave it at that. She hasn't done a great job as a county council member. She doesn't stand for anything other than I was endorsed by Trump or I am for redistricting. And that's it. So who would be motivated to vote for her? You might be a cause. You might hate Greg Good, the incumbent. Greg Good voted to screw people on property taxes. We run Greg Good ads. I've told you, people, we'll take it. We believe in free speech, right? And Greg Good seems like a hell of a nice guy. I've had numerous conversations with him. He's been spot on the IEDC, which he's talked about. He's been spot on a LEAP district, which he's talked about. He's been spot on with the Mid-States Corridor. He's against those things, which are great. His speech he gave against redistricting was fabulous. But I don't know if I'd be motivated to vote for Greg Good because of what he did on property taxes. I don't know. I don't live over there. That's a choice for the people of Terre Haute and Clay County and Sullivan County to make what way they're going. I certainly wouldn't vote for a woman just based on, well, she's for redistricting. Okay, well, I didn't care, and when I was forced to care, I was against it. So what does that do for me? Now, next. And so I wonder, like over there in Terre Haute with the repeated, and by the way, if the Turning Point challengers don't get at least, I say there's basically 9, right? There's 9 of them. The numbers kind of vary, but I'll say 9 because I include the Liz Brown from Fort Wayne in this group. If they don't get at least 4 of them, the Better Business Bureau ought to just give them an F rating because they will have again failed to produce. Look, here's the thing about Turning Point. I know there's a lot of people who love Charlie Kirk, and he was a phenomenal orator, and he was a brilliant guy, and he was a great motivator of young people. No dispute. But tragically, Charlie Kirk has gone, and that organization sucks without him. It's a dumpster fire. Which that happens, right? When the shining star isn't there anymore, there's normally not somebody to step in and take their place. Turning Point USA has been a joke in Indiana. They failed to produce any sort of numbers on redistricting. The rallies they had were horribly attended. They weren't able to move the lawmakers. And now they're out here flapping their gums and thumping their chest on all of these Senate challengers. And if they don't get at least 4 of the 9 with all the money they've spent and all the rallies and all the hoopla and this and that, We're going to just do the Nelson Muntz on this show. We're going to point at them and laugh and go, ha ha. And this is what sucks for me because, and we've talked about this, most of these incumbents, they need to go. They've done a horrible job. Our state is horribly run. It's not up for debate or discussion. The state is a dumpster fire. It's chaos in so many levels. And that's not even, I'm just talking about how it's run. I'm not even talking about the taxation that comes with it. And so the incumbents got to go, but look at the challengers, right? Look at some of these people. Abdul had a rundown on what a dumpster fire so many of these people are who are running. They're just opportunists on the other side. The people in the office are opportunists. The people on the other side are opportunists. And I look at this and I go, man, I just wish I had somebody to be fired up about voting for. I mean, it's like, that guy's going to go in there, that girl's going to go in there, and they're going to storm the Bastille. They're going to burn the thing to the ground. Hey, they may lose, but it's going to be fun. Damn it, it's going to be fun. And I don't see any of that. I don't see passion for people from these challengers. I see passion for Trump. I see passion for a cause, redistricting, which can't be done now anyway. But I don't see passion for us. I don't see like, hey, you're getting screwed. I'm going to go in there and fix it for you. And if I fail, man, we're going to make life hell on these people when we're in there fighting. Like, I don't see that from any of these people. And so that tells me if they don't have the passion on the campaign trail, they're not going to have the passion in the office. And so I just look at this and I'm like, man, I vote. I always vote. But are you more passionate about voting this time than I am? Am I an outlier? Am I misreading everything? Am I looking at this all wrong? Are there these great people out there and I'm just not seeing them? By the way, if you vote for the incumbent at any level, you're approving the status quo. You know that, right? Like if you vote for the incumbent at any level, you're approving the status quo, whatever that person is. I can't do that. I mean, it's like somebody told me the other day, they said, Craig Haggard is telling people he doesn't know why you're mad at him. Because he went on my show and he lied to all of you. He didn't just lie to me, he lied to all of you. Like, isn't that a great insight into a politician's mind? So the race we're talking about here, Jim Barrett is running for Congress. He's the incumbent congressman running for re-election. He's awful. He's 9 million years old. He's done nothing but add to the debt, grow the government, make the government less effective. He did the same thing in the Indiana General Assembly before that. He's rotten. He's awful. He sends out all these franked mail pieces. We're $39 trillion in debt. This guy has no regard whatsoever for our money. He's awful. I would have loved, I was looking for, hey, give me somebody who can win to beat this guy. So this guy, Craig Haggard, he spoke at our property tax rally. He voted against the property tax bill. I told him at the time, I said, I won't forget that. He's been okay as a state rep on some things. Okay. Viable guy, probably can raise a bunch of money. He goes on our show during redistricting. We're talking about the maps. And he's emphatic that the maps are fine. He's emphatic that the maps are fair. He's emphatic that the maps are good. I'm not for redistricting. Charlie Kirk threatens him, and a couple days later, he changes his mind. He tells all of my audience, I give this guy a platform to talk about his view on redistricting. He tells all of my audience how good the maps are, and he's against redistricting, and then flips because a podcaster threatens him. And you don't understand why I'm pissed off about that? That I gave you access to my audience and you lied to them? I don't understand why Rob is so mad at me. That doesn't even go into the fact that Micah Beckwith's office, employees in Micah Beckwith's office, allegedly shared AI porn of his wife. And then based on the comments he made in the media at the time, including on our show, he seemed pretty damn convinced it happened. And then he ends up posing for a photo with Micah Beckwith. Well, it tells me you're just a politician, dude. You're not about the people. You're not going to go in there and fight for people. You pose. Can you imagine if you really believed a statewide office holder had employees in his office sharing AI porn of your wife? Can you imagine? Like, I don't even know what my reaction would be. His reaction to pose for a photo with the guy. tells me either one, you don't believe it happened, which means then all the huffing and puffing you were doing in the media was just dinner theater, or you so need the position, so need to be a politician, you'll pose for a photo with a guy who you think employees in his office were sharing AI porn of your wife. But he doesn't understand why I'm so upset. Craig Haggard doesn't understand why I'm so pissed off, because nobody's fighting for us, so I voted for John Piper. Don't know really anything about Piper other than the ad he runs with us and the, whatever it was, 12 minutes we talked to him on the show. Doesn't matter to me. I know what the other two options are. Sucks. Would have loved for someone like Craig Haggard, who can raise the money to be competitive, to go in there and be an ass kicker. Instead, he's an ass kisser. But I don't have that. Do you guys have that where you're at? Let me know. What would you like, and what would you like to be voting on? Like, to me, I would love to have somebody who it's like, I know when they get in there, they're going to be for me. They're going to be for my family. They're going to take hard votes, and they're not just going to vote. They're going to be vocal about it. They're going to speak up about it. They're going to organize on it. They're going to fight for us. I don't have any of that. Maybe you have that where you're at. Let me know. If you're a candidate, and I thought of the backside of this, I might offer some advice to candidates. Probably too late for this year, this primary season, but future years or even the general election. A couple of things. Give people something to believe in. Not just like words on a flyer. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. They all say they're going to do the same stuff. You personally have to give people something to believe in. Why are you here every day? I probably didn't ask that as nicely as it was intended. You're here every day because you believe in me and you believe in Jason and what we're putting out for you. You know, because of the track record that I have, that, damn it, I actually believe the stuff that I say. I'm willing to lose everything and have to build it all back up. You know, right? Like, this is legitimate. This isn't some act. It's not a presentation. I hate the government. I hate the people in the government. I think the vast majority of them are completely screwing me over and my family over and are enriching and emboldening themselves in the process. Not every single person, but the vast majority of them. And I have recognized that God has blessed me with a platform, wherever it is or whatever it is, and I'm going to use it because I have an obligation. So you come and you invest in me. You invest in Jason. You give us your time. You share our feed. Some of you generously contribute. Our sponsors sponsor the show. I take great pride and responsibility in that. If you're a candidate, you can have that too, but you have to want it. You have to be vocal about things that matter to people and take charge and take control and be out there on it. It's not enough to even believe it. You have to fight for it. You have to demand it. I don't see that from any of these people, these Senate candidates. The other thing, stop being boring. You guys are so boring. Like, there's nothing about you as a member of the media that would makes me want to cover your events. There's just nothing. There's nothing about you that I would say, oh my gosh, it would be cool to go to whatever or whoever. None of them. Copenhagen, Bagsby, any of you people. There's nothing entertaining about you. And I like Richard Bagsby. He's a nice guy. But you gotta give people some reason to want to show up. Like, people win just on being entertaining. Jesse Ventura won a freaking governorship on it. He had no money. He was running as a third party, and he won the election. Why? Because people believed him when he said stuff, and he was entertaining. Like, you're like, Jesse Ventura's having an event at a park. Okay, we should go. This will be fun to go to. And he picked up voters every time he went somewhere. Get up, throw the playbook out the window. Stop listening to the consultants. Be a human. Be a human. All right. Before choosing a mortgage, it's smart to talk with someone you trust and you can actually sit down with because they're local. That's where Gary Tedrow comes in. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local lender helping buyers and homeowners across central Indiana with home purchases, refinancing, strategies to manage debt using home equity. Gary focuses on education and guidance. He's a local guy, somebody you can sit down with and look in the eye. He wants to make sure you understand your options before you make a decision. Visit loansbygary.homes to get started. Loansbygary.homes, or you can call Gary directly, 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. You've literally got nothing left to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. If you work through with Gary, he's going to tell you what he can do for you. If it's not better, just say, thanks, Gary. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for supporting Rob's show. But you might be able to save a bunch of money. Nothing to lose, guys. Loansbygary.homes. All right. So Politico said something that we've been talking about for years. I've been talking about for years. And this poll that has come out is like right front and center on exactly what I've been saying. Sometimes, guys, I even amaze myself at how right I am about things. Like I will read polls and I'll go, damn, I've been saying that for years. One of the reasons is not because I'm so smart. It's because I'm just in touch with people. Like I live in a world where I interact with people. I understand where humans are. So Politico did, this was a, let's see, who was this? I think it was a Politico poll. It was a Politico poll. Politico did, so as you don't know, Politico is it actually has a physical publication, which I'd assume it still has a physical publication, but it's an online, it covers Washington, D.C., politics across the country. Adam Wren from Politico is a regular on our show. They've got reporters all across the country. By the way, I will tell you when I found out Politico had a physical paper was when the state of Indiana forced me to go to Washington, D.C. for a conference when I was pharmacy board director. I saw it because it's in Washington, so the Politico thing was everywhere. I was like, I didn't even know they had a physical publication. Anyway, they're very well known in the Washington, D.C. political circuit, right? And so they did a poll on how people feel about two things: cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. And I have told you guys for years, especially as it relates to data centers, one of the major issues is government and the industry is moving too fast for regular people. People will buy into stuff if they understand it and understand how it helps them. And they understand what the alternative is to not having it. In the case of AI, in the case of crypto, those industries have not educated regular people on what they do, how they operate, and why they're important. And so people are just like, I don't understand it, and you're going too fast for me, so I'm against it. Like, think about it. Like, I am the worst at this. I'm like the guy who, we're in a new room here, right? We're in a new office. We're in a new studio. They sent the lease over. I read the lease, right? Jason's like, come on, let's go. We're going to lose this thing. It's like, well, I want to know, right? I want to know what's going on. Like when I had contracts with my radio career, I was very meticulous about going through them. Like, there are reasons I'm able to be here now is because I was meticulous in how I went through those things and things I wanted inserted in different places. Allowed me to come here. It paid off in the end. And so I am certainly this way where if I can understand something, I'm open to going with it if it's going to better my life. I'm all about me, guys. But if I don't understand it, I'm not going to even fathom moving forward with it. And so here's what the poll said on crypto and AI. And look, by the way, what this poll shows, because so much of our politicians now and even candidates are centering campaigns or government policy around crypto and AI, like that's what they're talking about, bad move. The public is not even close to being there on either of these things. I'm talking the public at large. Look, I understand with crypto, there's a huge group of people who swear by it. And if that's you, God bless you. I'm not saying crypto isn't a valid thing. I'm not saying there's not a place for it in our society. I'm simply telling you this poll backs up what I've been saying. The public is not there at large. So 40% of Americans, according to this Politico poll, said they trust a traditional bank more than any crypto platform with their money. 47% of Americans said they trust a traditional bank more than a crypto platform, compared to just 17% who say crypto. That's a 30% disparity. That's a lot. Amongst Trump voters, and Trump's been heavy on crypto, right? He's a crypto bro. And Musk and all these guys. Amongst Trump voters, it's 45-24 bank. That's amongst Trump voters. So even amongst his own people, they don't like it. 43% of Americans say AI risk outweighs benefits. That's compared to 33% who say benefits outweigh risk. Trump voters are split evenly on that. Again, even amongst his own party, as we've seen this massive push by Trump for these data centers for AI. And again, we are not anti-data center here, not in the least. We understand the value. We're doing it right now. I would have no career right now if it weren't for data centers. I get it. Used to be able to have no career if it weren't for a transmitter and a tower. Now it's data centers. So we're not anti-data center. What we are is it's moving too fast. The government is moving too fast. And the government and the data center people are not doing a good job of ingratiating themselves to communities and working with the communities to get a desired result. That's what we are. That is our complaint here. Here's what else the poll says. More than half of Americans say they have never and would not consider buying or trading cryptocurrency. That's an alarming statistic for a government that seems to be pushing this down people's throats, and we have to move to this. We have to do this. We have to do this. The public is saying more than half Americans say we will never be involved with this. So you can't even get to 50% of the people who might potentially be interested in the thing you're pushing on them. On artificial intelligence, according to Politico, nearly half of respondents say it is likely to eliminate more jobs than it creates, and a 43% plurality say the risk of technology outweigh the benefits. The public is against it because they think it's taking something from them. The long-term ramifications are not, hey, sharing a meme or sharing a video of George Washington fighting Hulk Hogan is funny, but it ain't funny enough to take my job from me. It ain't that funny. And that's where people are. So this is a great example of how I think a lot of our political people now get so into, hey, what's Twitter saying? What's Facebook saying? What's Rumble saying? All of these different platforms. And that's not where the average person is, because the average person isn't there, or at least they're not there for that long. And they're misreading the tea leaves on where the public actually is. You've got to educate people on things. You've got to have incrementalism. We talked about this with Doge. How the great mistake of Doge was not trying to cut the government. One, the major mistake was all the money reverted back to the agencies. The money's still getting spent in most cases. But also that Doge went so much so fast, people didn't even get time to warm up to it. They didn't get time to see the benefit and go, okay, hey, we can lose government. We'll be okay. You've got to do things in incrementalism. You got to have a measured approach and build on those things before you start really pushing that snowball down the hill. All right, guys. John, the owner of Event Savvy, he's got a little homework for you guys. Little assignment that could save you a lot of money and hassle. So do me a favor. When you get home today, if you're watching me at work or if you're at home right now, go into your bathroom and just look up at the ceiling above your shower. You guys are like me, you got a stand-up shower. Go up and look at the ceiling above your shower, even if you got a bathtub. Seriously, look for staining, peeling paint, or that the fan that sounds like a lawnmower, right? Like if you turn that fan on, does it make a horrible sound? You're like, turn that down. Or does it barely move any air? If your mirror stays fogged up after a shower, that fan isn't doing its job. And if it's not working, that moisture is going somewhere, usually into the attic or the ceiling. That's exactly what Vent Savvy fixes. Go to ventsavvy.com. 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 And they can help you find out if your fan is actually doing its job. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, damn, who was the guy who said we should go to 3 hours? That person, somebody should really have a stern talking with him. Okay, so many people talking about Spirit Airlines. And we're going to give you the timeline and exactly went down and how the government has once again screwed everyone. Had the government done nothing, we'd be fine. We'll talk about it next when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, representing the Wabash Valley by listening and never compromising our shared values. That's why I'm the only Senate candidate endorsed by Indiana Right to Life, the NRA, Indiana Realtors, professional firefighters, and the Indiana Farm Bureau. These endorsements are from the good people from Indiana and for Indiana, a sign of trust that I have built and results that you can count on. I'm Senator Greg Good, and I respectfully ask for your vote in the Indiana Republican primary.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Welcome back. Rob Kendall Show, 3 hours now, 9 until noon each day. If you haven't done so yet, hit the thumbs up button, like the show. We're here for growth, people, and that really helps us grow the program. Hit that thumbs up button. Let us know. Also, tell your friends. We want to get those numbers up. We want to get the listeners up, the viewers up, and let them know. Hey, if they're not YouTube people, see us on Spotify. Find us on Apple. Find us all of the places. And what we're doing is we're bringing you the heat. We're bringing you the smoke 3 hours a day, every day. Most of it still Indiana news and politics and government, but we're also getting into some of the national stuff, some of the stories we just didn't have time to do when we only had 2 hours. So I was not giving up that local content. I was not going to give it up. It's too important. It's what makes us unique. And graciously, our friend John Russ stepped up and said, hey, I'll float that third hour for you. Because I was like, man, I just don't have... A little inside baseball here. Basically, every hour you see on the show is an hour or more behind the scenes. So every hour you see here, it takes me an hour to lay out what we're going to do. And I was like, man, I just don't have, 2 more hours. I mean, I can find the 2 hours to do the show and to put the content together, but trying to do all the things that would come with having to fun doing an extra third hour? I don't think so. And graciously, John has been a huge supporter of ours. The billboards you guys have noted that you've seen, that's because of John. This third hour that we're able to put together, man, he really loves you guys, and he really loves freedom of speech, and he's been just a huge advocate of us having a voice out there. So thank you to him for making that possible. Just a reminder, tomorrow, big announcement for the show. We're going to do a live show. You guys have asked for it. We said, okay, we'll do it. We've got it all narrowed down. We're going to do a live show. We'll tell you all about it coming up tomorrow on the program. When it's going to be, where it's going to be, how you can get your tickets. And we're really doing this as a celebration of this program and you guys, celebration of you guys just sticking with us and staying with us. We tried to make it super affordable. It's going to be a lot of fun. A little different than we did the last live show, but we think you guys will like it. And look, we don't pretend to be anything but what we are. We're just a couple of guys creating a community around freedom of speech, around giving people voices who don't have voices, and being able to talk about topics that need to be talked about, that you need and deserve to hear about, that you're just, unfortunately, the corporate guys just aren't going to talk about them. And it's too bad, because there's a real opportunity to do great local content that you're not going to hear anywhere else. We're still in a work in progress here at the studio. We made a lot of progress over the weekend. Jason and Ethan are banging it out tonight. By the way, Ethan Hatcher, he's been awesome. Everybody listen to Saturday Night on the Circle, Saturday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. And we're hoping to wrap things up pretty soon and sort of have a permanent look here in the near future. But just a lot of moving parts, all good stuff, all great growth, and we couldn't do it without you guys. All right, before we get to Spirit, Spirit stuff is fascinating. Is your driveway showing signs of wear, freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt? It all can cause unsightly damage that can end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. And they do more than just concrete. They do decks, fences, pergolas, basically any exterior wood or outdoor structure that needs cleaned or stained. Seal Now, they can be your guys. They'd love to talk to you. They'd love to hear about your project, what you'd like to do, see how they can make it possible for you. By the way, Seal Now, you can see all their work, sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com. While you're there, you can schedule a totally free estimate. They'll hear what you want. They'll give you a price. No surprises with that. And if you mention you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show, Seal Now will take off an incredible 20% on any long-term sealing project. SEALNOW.com. 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 Tell them you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show. Okay, let's talk about Spirit, shall we? This is one of the reasons I wanted to go to 3 hours, so that we could dedicate some time to these sorts of things. This is a national issue that I need time to get into. Wouldn't have had it on the old show. So it's great now we can go to the 3 hours. By the way, I have experience with Spirit Airlines. That's where I went to Las Vegas after I got married on a Spirit airline. Coming and going. So I've been on a Spirit airline. You know me. I am the most frugal man alive. The cheap fares, they were awesome. I don't need booze. I don't need a hot towel. I don't need a roomy seat. My wife felt a little different about that. But I'm saying for me, I don't need any of that. I just need you in the most economic way possible to get me from point A to point B. And you guys know I hate flying. I hate flying. But I was willing to do it. I told Gabrielle, I said, go wherever you want when we get married. Make it count, because this will be the last time for a while. So wherever you want to go, I'll go. So I've been on a Spirit airline. It was a fine experience, other than the fact that flying itself is just horrific. But in terms of flying, it was fine. All right, so AOL. Did you guys know AOL.com is still a thing? I had no idea. I was looking up a bunch of stuff on Spirit, and I got down a rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, this place is great. The timeline they've got and everything. I start researching who it is. I'm like, it's AOL.com. What year is this? 1997? AOL.com has a pretty interesting timeline on what went down with Spirit and really tracking sort of everything that took place. And here's what you walk away realizing. The government killed Spirit Airlines. Now, Spirit had some serious structural problems, but the government killed Spirit Airlines. All right, so here's sort of the background on this, right? Spirit has existed as sort of a budget airline since 2004. And before that was kind of a charter flight company that had existed for a little bit more than 10 years. But it sort of became a mainstream budget airline. By budget, I mean, if you're flying Spirit, you know what you're getting. Your goal is to get from point A to point B in the cheapest way possible. And so existed since 2004 as that. And in February of 2022, Frontier tried to buy Spirit Airlines. Frontier's a known flight entity. Tried to buy Spirit Airlines. The shareholders rejected it. The shareholders of Spirit rejected that sale. So not the government's fault. You throw that out, right? But I think it's relevant for what we're talking about here at the timeline. In April of 2022, JetBlue tried to buy Spirit. JetBlue, also another known airline entity, a lot of discount flights, etc. The shareholders from Spirit accepted the offer. They said, okay, JetBlue, we see you, JetBlue. We like what you have to offer. We'll take it. The Biden Justice Department then steps in with a massive microphone from Elizabeth Warren. Now, you guys know Elizabeth Warren. She's the woman who lied about being an Indian. Remember Elizabeth Warren claimed she was Native American. Trump called her out on it. She's like, yeah, she ain't Native American. And then because she's a moron, she took a DNA test, one of those tests where it tells you what you are. And like she had a fraction of a percentage of her was Native American. She was not Native American at all. And this is amazing to think about the voters of this country. This woman literally, because she elevated herself as an Ivy League educator, which she got the job lying about being a Native American. And that job as an Ivy League educator is what elevated her to the U.S. Senate. So her whole life is a lie. Like her whole life is a lie, a complete and utter fabrication. And the voters in Massachusetts keep electing her, which is amazing to me. She straight up just flipped both of her middle fingers right in your face, in their faces, lies to them repeatedly, has never denounced like, yeah, that was scam, sorry. Like none of that. And they keep electing her. This is why our country is in such a bad space. But Elizabeth Warren's a big fraudster. She's rich, but she hates the idea of other rich people, just not her. And she claims to be some bankruptcy expert, which she's never run anything that I'm aware of. She's an academic, a career academia. And Elizabeth Warren with this giant bullhorn, or I don't know what the Indians used, whatever that would be, their equivalent of the bullhorn, urged the Biden Justice Department, and they ultimately did, to reject the deal, saying, quote, higher fares, fewer seats, and harm to millions of consumers. Okay? So the government, and Spirit Airlines was beginning to hit some choppy waters. That's why they wanted the deal. So literally, the government would rather have had this company go out of business than have them be in business that potentially might be charging higher fares. So this is the most government thing ever. This Spirit's like, hey, we want to merge with these people. They want to buy us. We like the deal. Our shareholders have said, okay. The people who like own our company. And the government's like, nah, you could raise the rates, but we might go out of business. Well, it's a risk we're willing to take. So then in 2024, after this deal goes down, not goes down like it happens, like it goes down, Spirit announced it was preparing to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, citing rising operation costs, the failed mergers. They were like, we can't make this work. Like you're saying, you don't want us to raise our rates. We have to raise our rates. We can't make it work at the current price. And increasing debt. January of 25, Frontier makes another offer. Remember, Frontier made the original offer that Spirit rejected, but Spirit had to reject that offer because it was like half of what the JetBlue offer was. A little bit more than half. And they're like, yeah, we wanted to do JetBlue because that was going to work financially. $2.1 billion, which was the offer. Well, that's not going to work for us. So they had to reject it. In August of 2025, Spirit filed for bankruptcy again, reporting a net loss of about $246 million from March through mid-June. So last year, this same time frame last year, Spirit lost about $246 million. And again, all of this is happening because the government, the Biden administration, with Elizabeth Warren as the cheerleader in chief, would not let them merge. Everybody was cool with the merger, but they're like, yeah, it may raise some rates. Yeah, but we're losing $250 million a quarter. It's $1 billion a year. Well, too bad. Isn't that the most government thing ever? So then fast forward to April, the Iran war starts, jet fuel skyrockets. By the way, I learned this. I didn't know this. Jet fuel is about 40% of an airline's operating cost. Did you guys know this? Jet fuel is about 40% of the operating cost for an airline, which is wild to me. And so Spirit basically said, we're done. we can't do this anymore. Now, what is interesting is at the tail end, Spirit went to the federal government and was like, please bail us out. We need $500 million in exchange for a majority stake in our company. This is what I want to talk to you guys about for a second as well. Because first of all, the government killed Spirit Airlines. Elizabeth Warren, Biden, Buttigieg killed Spirit Airlines. But think about this. We are so commonplace to our government giving out money that was their default maneuver. Their default move was, hey, can we have a few bucks? Like, I remember, do you guys remember in 2008 when the auto bailout happened and the public was just outraged? And like, what a novel thing that was, different, like how outside the box it was like, what? The taxpayers are giving a private company money? That can't happen. Now that's just the default move. That's the default move by Spirit Airlines, is to simply say, well, we're going under. Hey, government, can we have $500 million? Oh, no? Okay, we're going under. Thanks, bye. That is just amazing to me that is the point we're at now, where it's become such standard operating procedure that a company just goes, we'll just go to the government, ask them for money. Oh, what? We can't have the money? Damn, that sucks. But again, you go back to 2022. A deal's in place. All sides are happy. Buyer happy. Seller happy. Shareholder happy. Company can remain solvent. More flights, more options. The government said no, and they went out of business. Guys, what the hell are we doing? Why would that have been the better option? Why did Pete Buttigieg and Biden and Warren think a company not existing? Think of all the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who've been let go, who lost their jobs, who were, by all accounts, doing their job, right? Going to work, showing up, people being able to fly more places, fly cheaper, less backup. Airlines already a disaster, right? And the government said we'd rather these people go out of business than let them merge. Simply unbe-freaking-believable. But totally believable because it's the government. Hey, guys, if you're buying a home, it's the biggest investment you're ever going to make in many cases, most cases. Do it with someone local. Do it with someone you can build trust with. Do it with somebody who's an advocate for you, not just buying or selling a home. They're an advocate for you. That's where Lauren Wilson with @Properties comes in. You know, I was talking with Lauren Wilson a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about, different encounters she's had. And she says, one of the hardest things for me to do is tell people not to buy a house. I was like, you tell people don't buy houses? She's like, yeah, all the time. It's like, well, doesn't that cost you money? She's like, oh, yeah, all the time. It's like, well, why do you do that? She said, because I have to look myself in the mirror and I have to know that I've done right by people for the rest of their lives. And she said, so a lot of times I will tell people, don't buy the house or don't sell at this price or whatever. And that's the great thing about Lauren Wilson, realtor with @Properties. She's a Hoosier lifer, military vet, and she's about so much more than just signing on the dotted line. She's about making sure you're comfortable with the whole experience. Get to know her. Even if you haven't committed to buying or selling, even if you're just thinking about it, or you're thinking, hey, a couple years from now I might be doing it, start the plan now. Planning is so key. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson, realtor @Properties. 317-590-2290. Okay, let's talk about Clarence Thomas for a second, shall we? Yahoo had an article about Clarence Thomas, and Clarence Thomas is about to become the second longest serving justice in American Supreme Court history. That's crazy. And I was reading, look, Clarence Thomas is an amazing American story. Like, he's an American success story. And his life and what he endured and what he went through to become a Supreme Court justice is incredible. That's on top of what a great justice he's been. I think Clarence Thomas is one of the most interesting Americans who ever lived. And his influence on the court and his influence on our society is unbelievable. And I want to talk about that for a second, because there's a real valuable lesson to learn from Clarence Thomas. There's a real valuable takeaway that we can have in our lives about Clarence Thomas. But a couple things about Clarence Thomas, if you guys don't know this. So Clarence Thomas was 43 years old when he was appointed to the Supreme Court in 1991. 43. He's just a little bit older than I am. What am I doing with my life? I'm here with you guys. He was going to the Supreme Court. He was the second black justice in Supreme Court history. We've since had a third, Ketanji Brown Jackson. We've also had Hispanic justice with Sonia Sotomayor. So a lot more minority representation on the court, but it was Thurgood Marshall, who I believe Thomas replaced Marshall, was the second Supreme Court justice, minority Supreme Court justice in American history. On Thursday, he's going to pass John Paul Stevens for for second place all time. If he makes it until May 20th of 2028, he will pass William O. Douglas, who was on the court from 1939 to 1975 for the all-time record. I don't know about you guys. 1939 to 1975 sounds like a hell of a lot longer than 1991 to 2028. Are you guys like this? My dad and I were having this conversation. When I was a kid and I would see photos of my dad when he was a kid or things from my dad's era when he was a kid, like a Beatles album, it seemed ancient. It seemed forever ago. And I think part of it is because like the photos were black and white in the 50s and 60s. Like a lot of them were black and white. So it just seemed like another world, another time. I watched something from 1996 and I'm like, that seems like it was yesterday. I was watching something the other day from 1997 and I was like, that just seems like it was the other day. And it looks like it was the other day. But in reality, it was almost 30 years ago. So Clarence Thomas, if he makes it until May 20th of 2028, he will become the longest serving member of the Supreme Court in American history. And here's the great thing about Clarence Thomas, and this is what we should take away from him. He has never changed. You watch Clarence Thomas in 1991, and then you watch his legal rulings and his philosophies and the way he's handled himself on the court. He has never changed. And the amazing thing about it, Clarence Thomas was in the minority, the vast minority, when he started on that court. And he stayed true to himself. He was the exact same dude in 1991 that he is today. And he didn't cave. He didn't change. He didn't let DC change him. Wasn't like, oh man, I'm not going to be in with this club or this group of people or get invited to these parties. He didn't care. He's like, this is my judicial philosophy. This is the way I feel about the law. This is the way I feel about the world. Here I am. Come at me, brah. So often you see like people like David Souter, who was a conservative darling when he was also appointed by Bush. And he got totally swallowed up and he became a liberal justice. Souter's interesting. He was a state Supreme Court justice. And he was uber conservative on the state Supreme Court. It tells you how hard this vetting process actually is with these judges. I think, was it New Hampshire? Was it Maine? I think it was New Hampshire. And Souter was this rock star because he'd issued a couple rulings at the state Supreme Court, and Bush got convinced to pick him. And people were like, well, yeah, but he's never ruled on federal issues. Oh, it doesn't matter. This guy's great. You'll love him. And he turned out to be a complete turd. Clarence Thomas never has given in. He's never changed. And it's amazing. And look, I think a huge part of Clarence Thomas's determination was what he went through with the Anita Hill stuff. Most of you know this probably, but Anita Hill was a former worker under Clarence Thomas who accused him of sexual harassment, and it was just awful. It was like the original Kavanaugh type stuff. And Clarence Thomas went into a hearing with literally his life on the line. And he stared down Joe Biden, who was handling those hearings. He was the head of the Judiciary Committee at the time. And he had one of the greatest quotes of all time. And this is amazing. He didn't give in. So many of these people, they just cave, right? They just cave. Oh, you say go away, I go away. Clarence Thomas said, His quote, and it will stand through history. He said, it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, you will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured by a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree. He looked Joe Biden right in the eye and he said, you ain't doing this to me. You're going to vote me up or you're going to vote me down. I am not giving in. I didn't do what I'm accused of, and I'm not going away. He was a fighter. We need more Clarence Thomas in this world. We need more people who will stand up for what's right. Because, damn it, we just have a lot of cowards in our society right now. We have a lot of cowards in public office. We have a lot of people who want to be liked, rather than do what's right. We have a lot of cowards in our industry. We have a lot of people in our industry who have great ability to have influence and hold our politicians accountable, and they don't do it. They don't do it. They don't ask the hard questions. They don't ask the follow-up questions. They don't grill these people. They don't say the things that need to be said. We certainly have a lot of cowards in the political realm. But people would rather be liked, who'd rather get invited to stuff, who'd rather be in the cool club, who'd rather go to ribbon cuttings or events or be speakers at Lincoln Days, rather than do what's right for you. Clarence Thomas, his whole life has been about what's right, not what's easy. He's been reviled, hated, had horrible things said about him. Never changed. Never changed. I love Clarence Thomas. I think he's, like I said, one of the most interesting Americans who's ever lived. But I love him not just because of his legal rulings. He'll make legal rulings I don't agree with. Like he was against, he voted for Trump to be able to do the tariffs. I was vehemently against that. He was in the minority. But I agree with a lot of his legal findings, his legal rulings, his legal interpretations, his legal philosophies. I agree with a lot of them. But I love him for a different reason. Because he's one of the few people in politics. And look, I get the judiciary should be separate from politics. But let's face it, it goes through a political process. They're in the political orbit for the purposes of this conversation. How about we say this? In politics and or government. Who never caved, who never gave in. He's been such an inspiration to me on that's how you live your life. You know what's right. You know your belief system. You have a right to it. Don't give in to other people. Don't give in to the mob. We need more Clarence Thomas in our society. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we'll get to Jason's best YouTube comments of the day. Not right away. He shut up no, not right away. I'm saying when we come back, it's things I'm telling people what they have to look forward to. Yes, but we will get to all of that. We're going to get to that. The Star has a fascinating article about all the Democrats that are running for office in Indiana. Are we going to actually finally see the Democrats get out of their own way? We got to talk about what's going on with Rudy Giuliani. We got a million things to get to here. And yeah, Jason, you got to read the YouTube comments at some point too. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We'll talk about all that and more when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
I'm State Senator Greg Good, and I'm here on the Wilson family farm to tell you the truth. Am I allowing China to buy our farmland? No. I'm doing the opposite. I want to kick China's butt, and my record clearly proves it. Some say I'm against Trump. I'm against D.C. insiders trying to scheme away our state and local freedoms. I stand for what is right, regardless of who is in charge in D.C. I stand with you. Do you want a proven leader, a principal, or a political puppet? I ask for your vote on May 5th.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. We're 3 hours now, 9 to noon. Tell people, let's grow this program. We're not doing it for our health. We're doing it because we want to be able to get the word out, talk about these key issues in ways that you're not going to hear about anywhere else. So again, if you haven't done so yet today, really help us if you'd hit that like button. Hit that little thumbs up. It goes a long way helping us grow the program. And if you're feeling super generous, share our feed. If you got a Facebook, a Twitter, let people know, hey, Rob's 9 to noon now. We're doing national issues as well as the local ones. That really, really helps us grow. Look, we have been candid with you guys from the beginning. We are just two dudes in a room talking about issues that are important. We are totally beholden to you guys to get the word out about us. And so we call that the like, the share, and the subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button, share our feed, let people know where we're at. And if you're feeling super generous, subscribe to the channel. Speaking of feeling super generous, support button, robkendallshow.com. robkendallshow.com. We got a big support button up there. If you like what we do, it's a great way to say, hey, thanks. And we certainly appreciate all of you who have done that. A couple of other reminders. Again, speaking of the support button, we had a big weekend. Steve Green with an E, one of our famed YouTube chatters, Steve Green with an E, Joe, Lee, Jan, and more all hit that support button over there at Rob Kendall Show. Thanks to you guys. And tomorrow, big announcement. We are doing the live show by request from you guys. We're doing the live show. Our goal is just a way to say thank you for the first great 9 weeks that we've had. It'll be a lot more than that by the time the live show comes around. And just a chance for you guys to get together. You guys have made friends. You guys have become buddies with people in the chat. And just a way to say thanks to everybody who's been a part of that with us. We'll announce that tomorrow, when it's going to be, how you can get tickets. We try to make it super affordable. A little bit different experience than what we had with the last live show. That was a ton of fun, but really just a way to get everybody together and say thanks for just getting the show off the ground, doing what we're doing. We couldn't do it without you guys. So coming up here in just a little bit, we got this third extra hour now. Let's take advantage of it. Producer Jason going to have the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. But first, Indy Star had an interesting article about Democrats in Indiana and about their enthusiasm that they're saying they haven't seen in years. Before that, though, hey, if you have a masonry color mismatch on your house or previous repair catching your eye, not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover, Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants specialize in masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, you want to build something new, Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY.com. Beauty built to endure. Hey, and by the way, we got to thank John Rust. This third hour we're bringing you now, John Rust has stepped up and been the reason we're able to do that. And so thank you to John for allowing us to have this third hour. John's going to be with us later this week, talking a little bit about why he decided to do that, why he's helping. I think he's also planning something cool for you guys. So we'll talk with him about that as well. One other thing you guys can do to help us out. If you own a business or you know someone who owns a business or you're in charge of making decisions for a business, we'd love to be able to incorporate that business into our show. As you guys have seen, we've had great success with our local merchants that are supporting us here on the Rob Kendall Show. We try to really customize packages and get the messaging that's going to work. Sales at robkendallshow.com. Sales at robkendallshow.com. We are very appreciative of all of our political candidates that have advertised on this program, but they're coming off May the 5th. So we would love the opportunity to add some new voices in to take those spots. And we'd love to be able to talk to you. Sales at robkendallshow.com. All right, let's talk about the Democrats, shall we? So Kayla Dwyer, those of you who are long-time listeners know that we've had Kayla on our show many times. She's a great reporter. She did a piece on Democrat enthusiasm in the state of Indiana. And the influx of Democrats running for state house, state senate, the congressional races, and whether that's actually going to mean anything at the ballot box in November. So look, let's lay a couple of things out that I think are pretty obvious, but you never know. Democrats are not taking back the Indiana House of Representatives. Democrats are not taking back the Indiana Senate. Democrats are, in all likelihood, not going to win any of the 7 Republican congressional seats in our state. And there's probably only one statewide office this fall that's in play, and that's the Secretary of State. So, we're honest brokers here, right? Like I read these articles and I look at them through a different lens than everybody else. And so that's the reality of it. We're not doing this segment saying, oh man, there could be sweeping Democrat upsets across our state and the Democrats might be back in charge of Indiana. No, that's not going to happen. What I do think is realistic, and we'll talk about what some of this article says, is that Democrats can win enough seats to break the supermajorities potentially in the Indiana House and Senate. They would need a lot to go right. They need to pick up a lot of these suburban areas. But I think it's possible. Likely? We'll see. Possible? Definitely. I think the Democrats can certainly, if they nominate the right person with the right message and they get the right Republican running and Greg Ballard's on the ballot, win the Secretary of State's office. I think there is zero doubt in my mind if it is Bo Bai and Diego Morales and Greg Ballard, Bo Bai has a strong chance to become Secretary of State. I think the Democrats can make U.S. House races more competitive than they've been in a long time. I think all of these things are definitely possible this year. But the Democrats have got to get out of their own way. Major problem with the Democrats has been they have allowed insane people to run for public office. They have allowed insane people to have voices, amplified voices, and be front and center during key moments, key conversations, key issues. And what those insane people have done is they've completely alienated normal people who really may not like the Republicans, but they look at the Democrats and they say, nah, that's not for me. I don't think so. I'll just pay more in taxes and be pissed off and hate the Republicans. Because at least with the Republicans, there's a lot of things. And I don't want to say anything that's going to get myself in trouble on YouTube. So let's just say with the Republicans, there's not a lot of things. And that's too bad because it enables the Republicans to be financial predators. It enables the Republicans to abuse our finances, to take advantage of us, to stick their middle finger right in our face, to screw us on property taxes, utility bills, tolling, all points in between. Here's what the Star said, though, about the Democrats this year. More Indiana Democrats are running for state house seats than they have in decades. There are record numbers of candidates filing for local offices in multiple central Indiana counties, and early voting has doubled in some counties, particularly among Democratic ballots, compared to the last election cycle, which was a presidential election year. This is where we get to the details, though. It cannot just be quantity. The candidates have to be quality. Like if you have every candidate run, if you have every office having a candidate running, and they're the aforementioned insane people who every other word is trans this or trans that, or abortion this or abortion that, or the cosplay people, you're going to lose. You're going to lose badly. It's better to have no one than have the lunatics. Like, if you're a Democrat, you have to accept that you have some certified, or at least people who come off as certifiably insane. And I say this as someone cheering for the Democrats to get their act together and do better, because I'm sick of the Republicans being so awful. And I think the only way the Republicans are going to get better is if they fear challenges from the Democrats. And so the Democrats can't just say, well, we're running people in these offices. You have to run someone who won't harm the people who actually can win. There's a lot of offices you have no chance of winning. But you can't be doing harm. You have to elevate. Filling out a ballot is good if you have decent people. That's good if you have decent people. The problem is getting the decent people. When it's all said and done, the Democrats really have to have two goals. You have to set realistic expectations and have a game plan for the two goals. Number one, get Bo Bai elected Secretary of State. I like Blythe Potter. She's very nice. She was on our show. I think she'll do fine at the convention. She may make it competitive. She realistically does not have the footprint or the resources or the ability to pull from undecideds to win in November. I don't think she does. Again, I think she was very nice. She came out very well spoken. I think she'll do well at the convention. But she would have major issues in a general election. Bai is going to walk in with $10 million. $10 million. He's going to start with $10 million. I mean, he may not have actual $10 million in the bank, but that is his floor in terms of the money he's going to be able to raise. I know. I've talked to multiple people around that campaign and in that orbit, and they've told me that offline, that he's going to get $10 million. He will outraise Diego Morales, no doubt. And if you're the Democrats, everything you do has to be about getting that kid elected. He's your last chance. If you can't do it with him in a year where Trump is unpopular, pack it up. Just let the Lincoln Party or whatever Ballard's going to call his thing become the second party. You're going to have every opportunity like you've never had before. An unpopular president. Your party's fired up. There's a good chance the Republicans are going to nominate the worst statewide office holder in Indiana's history. You're going to potentially have Greg Ballard on the ballot pulling votes from Diego. If you can't get it done this year, you're done. And by the way, your candidate is going to be a normal, moderate guy whose father was a popular governor and senator and his grandfather was a senator. And he's going to have $10 gajillion. Frickin' Mellencamp gave him money. So if you're the Democrats, you have to say, how do we organize a game plan in which all of our candidates are pushing in the same direction, and the end goal becomes getting this guy in the Secretary of State's position? Because if you get him in the Secretary of State's position, he has unlimited ability to open up the doors on what Diego has done the last 4 years and expose any and everything and who was affiliated with it. Whoa. What was that?
I have no idea.
That was wild.
Damn it.
This is the new part of our show. If you just see the light come on, we have lights off and now they're on. And it's a new part of learning about how we do this show. It's not disrupting the feed. I just think I got a lot lighter. That's all right. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We told you it's going to be a work in progress. I have no idea what caused those lights to just come on. Maybe it was the Republicans knowing that I was on to something about Diego. It's okay. We learn as we go. But the point is, if you're the Democrats, that has to be the first job, the first goal, the first desire. That actually doesn't look too bad. The first job is how do we create an organized game plan of everybody pushing in the right direction in order to elevate Beau by, in order to lift him up. The second thing has to be, how do we get these purple district Democrats across the finish line? Talking about these swing districts around central Indiana. Let's face it, that's your most likely area, the Senate races, the House races, Fishers area, Zionsville, Carmel, to some extent, North Brownsburg, which is in that Becky Cash district, where you've got a viable option on the ballot in the fall where you can win these seats to break the Democrat or the Republican supermajority. That should be the goal. It's the first time, according to the Star, since 1974, the Democrats will have a candidate in on all 25 state Senate districts that are on the ballot in the fall. And it's the first time since the advent of single-member House districts in 1992, the Democrats are contesting as many as 90 of the 100 House seats. In a normal good year, Democrats say that they would have had 70. And Senate might get 2/3 of those races. So they're filling out the ballot, which is good if you have normal, decent people. If you have regular humans. If you have people who can talk about the issues. So that comes back to the thing the Democrats have to do. A coherent, organized message across the state in which, whether it's Beau or whether it's a House candidate or whether it's a Senate candidate or a member of the U.S. House, an organized set of talking points where no matter what the topic is, boom, that's what we're going to. Hating Trump is not a platform. I know the Democrats are running because they hate Trump, but hating Trump is not a platform. Screaming about trans people or abortion, not going to get anyone to vote for you. Democrats have a major trust issue in this state. Major trust issue. If they pick the nutbags who are out there shouting about the no kings people are nutbags. You cannot pick no kings people. It's not going to work. Even a few of these nutbags, if they get amplified, if they're in some prominent position, are going to ruin it for everybody. You got to have a list of talking points, and look, the problem with the Democrats is they say things like affordability. They say things like inflation. They say things like healthcare costs, and then they have no answer on how they're going to fix it. I mean, that's why I talked with Joe Mackey, who's running for Congress the other day on this show, and he didn't have any answer for it either. Nobody believes the Democrats are going to spend less money. You're not going to be able to tax your way out of inflation. What is the Democrat organized message going to be about how you're going to get inflation and affordability under control if you won't stop printing money, if you won't stop spending money? Democrats have zero credibility on those issues because they've helped create them. Now, if you come out with an organized message on how you're going to do that and tax the wealthy or tax the rich or whatever is not the message, okay, might have a chance. Locally, start talking about the things that matter: property taxes, utility bills, tolling, corruption. There are issues out there that are for the taking. It's the issues I've been begging these Republican challengers to talk about, which they don't seem to be doing. The Democrats have a golden opportunity here. An absolute opportunity of a lifetime, especially if it's Diego at the top of the ticket. Now, maybe Republicans ultimately get out of their own way. I don't see it. And so the Democrats, we will see if they will continue down their path of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, or they will finally say, we'd like to win a few seats and we'll nominate normal people who will talk about normal stuff and start chipping away at the very bad Republican dominance. The Republican dominance has been very bad for our state. Okay, Rudy Giuliani. I wanted to touch on this. Rudy Giuliani is supposedly in critical condition. Stable but critical is what they said. I believe he's in Florida. They have not said what happened to him. At least at the time of us starting the show, they had not said what happened to him. Maybe it has finally come out. And I want to read you what Trump wrote on social media. Because Rudy Giuliani, it's one of those things where, hey, both things can be true. Rudy Giuliani is one of the most important figures in American history, and he's also a tragic figure. He's a little bit like David in the Bible, if you think about it. He was given great importance. He was given great power. He was given great responsibility. He was given the ability to do great for humanity. And his arrogance and bravado and greed kind of took him down. But let's talk about what Trump put, and then we'll talk about Giuliani, because I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn from Giuliani. Quote, "What a tragedy that he was treated so badly by the radical left lunatics. Democrats all. And he was right about everything. They cheated on the elections, fabricated hundreds of stories, did anything possible to destroy our nation, and now look at Rudy. So sad." Rudy Giuliani, pre-2020, one of the great heroes in American history. What he did as the mayor of New York on 9/11 and in a post-9/11 world, you can't describe the level of courage and greatness that Rudy Giuliani displayed. But it goes back further than that. Rudy Giuliani was the guy who took down the mob in New York. That's how he became the mayor. Crime and the mafia were totally out of control, and Rudy Giuliani took them down as a prosecutor. Unbelievable bravery that he showed. And then as the mayor of New York, he took on crime and he cleaned the city up. He did a lot of great things. Rudy Giuliani's a liberal, but he was very competent in his position of running New York and really got the city back on its feet and in it, believing in itself again. And for all of those things, he deserves immense credit, immense thanks, immense gratitude from not just the people of New York, but our country. But he's really gone off the rails, no pun intended, the last decade or so, especially 2020 and beyond. And I think what happens to guys like Rudy Giuliani is, he ran for president after his term as mayor of New York was up. He started as sort of the Republican frontrunner in 2008, and his campaign just disintegrated because with South Carolina, New Hampshire, Iowa being the early states, those just weren't states that were going to play well for him, and he kind of banked it all on Florida. And by the time he got to Florida, he hadn't done anything, and so he couldn't cut it. He had too many liberal views to run for president, and by the time the campaign got started, it just wasn't going to work. But I think guys like Giuliani, they become, and it's true of all parties, it's true of a lot of the politicians on both sides of the aisle, they become entitled to the power that they've had. They come to believe they're owed something rather than feeling like when they get into the office or they get involved, I owe something to my country, my city, my state, whatever the thing is. And I think once they've had the power, certainly when you rise to a level of national prominence like Giuliani did, you believe something's owed to you. And so I think Giuliani made a lot of really bad choices in the lead up to 2020 because he was no longer of national political prominence. There was nowhere for him to go politically. And once you aren't in the job where you have things to hand out to people, you don't get the love and respect that you once did. And so I think guys like that start looking for ways to stay relevant. I think they start doing and saying things they never would have done or said in their prime, or when they were doing the thing that endeared them to a nation. And I think they come off looking foolish. So here's what's happened to Rudy Giuliani over the past 6 years. He was disbarred from practicing law in Washington, D.C. and New York. That's not an easy thing to do. You got to really try to do that. He was criminally charged in Arizona and Georgia. Let's talk about that for a second. In Arizona, he was charged with 9 felonies in May of 2024 for his role in the fake elector scheme. And someday we'll go into that because it's very bizarre. He pleaded not guilty. He's accused of acting as a central figure in trying to overturn Arizona's 2020 results. Look, Arizona's a state that just voted for Trump. It's not a super liberal state. There was some bizarre stuff that Rudy Giuliani was saying in 2020, and in the manner in which he did it. Like, you guys remember when they sent him out there, and he's got, like, hair dye just dripping down the side of his face, and he looks like he's like a Rob Zombie character or something. Now, the Georgia stuff, thought that was BS. I'll tell you about it, but then it was the Fani Willis stuff. So I'm throwing all the Georgia stuff out when I'm talking about this. Okay? In Georgia, he was indicted in Fulton County on 13 counts, including a violation of the Georgia RICO Act, solicitation of false statements, and conspiracy to commit forgery. Now, ultimately, that got all thrown out when Fani Willis went down. I did want to mention it, but I'm not holding that against him. He was also successfully sued to the tune of nearly $150 million for defamation against 2 Georgia election workers. Look, there is no doubt in my mind that something bizarre happened in 2020. And we've said this for years. The mistake Trump and his legal team led by Giuliani made was they focused on stuff they could not prove. And they got everybody focused on all the attention on stuff that came off as kook conspiracy theories. Doesn't mean they were. It just means if you can't prove something, you can't make your whole legal argument that. The thing they should have focused on was Pennsylvania. When you had just, and other states, where they were just throwing ballots at people. Here, catch. The Pennsylvania Senate, which was run by Republicans, was waving their arms saying, wait a second, this is not a legal way to run an election. We object to this. You literally had no control over who received the ballot, who filled out the ballot, who returned the ballot. That is not a conspiracy theory. And it did it again.
That's what we want,
though. Okay.
That's what we want.
This is what I said. If you're listening to us on the Apple or Spotify, we're having an issue with the lights in here, and we're still learning how the lights work at our new studio. You can see us. I look like an R.L. Stine character right now on the YouTube feed. But if you're on the YouTube and you're on the Apple Spotify, like, what the hell is this guy screaming about? That's what I'm screaming about. We'll get this all figured out. It's all a work in progress. We're still getting the studio ready to go. We're still making changes, adjustments. We've got an issue with the lights, which we knew about, and we will get this figured out. So you're happy?
I'm happy.
Okay, very good. Jason's happy. That's all that matters. And we know these things are going to happen. If you're like, why is he just randomly shouting on Apple or Spotify? Because the lights. It's like, Trump, get those lights off. Ah. Anyway, Giuliani and the Trump legal team made a huge mistake not focusing on the mail-in ballots. When they got on these voting machines and everything else, which has ended up in a disaster for numerous people, they lost the plot. They lost the average person. It sounds like something out of the X-Files. You got to stay focused. And Rudy Giuliani led Trump down a very bad path, and Giuliani's paying a very big price for it. And so I hate that, because Giuliani should have been remembered as one of the great heroes in American history for not only what he did on 9/11, but also what he did for New York City and what he did as a federal prosecutor. He was incredible. And sadly, he's going to be remembered as a character of himself, like the guy in the Borat movie. And it's too bad, but I wish him the best. Hope for a speedy recovery. Hope it goes well for Rudy Giuliani, and maybe give him an opportunity to sort of restore his legacy. All right, let's take a break. Be our final break of the show today. We'll come back. Jason will have the YouTube comments are just flooded in today. You guys have been awesome there on the YouTube comments. And we'll read some of the best of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. All that and more when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Planning a trip can be overwhelming. You know where you want to go, but how do you make it happen? That's where Baltus Travel Service comes in. Adam Baltus takes the worry out of travel and is with you every step of the way. The great thing about using Baltus Travel Service is, in most cases, it won't make your trip cost an extra dime. Adam is certified through most major cruise lines as well as Disney and Universal theme parks. If you've been thinking about going anywhere in the world, take the worry out with Baltus Travel Service. There's no charge for a consultation to find out in advance what your trip will cost. Get started today by visiting baltustravel.com or call 812-593-7561. 812-593-7561.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, we're on Twitter, by the way, at Rob M. Kendall, at Rob M. Kendall. A lot of the stuff we talk about here, we continue the conversation on over there, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. And again, want to thank all you guys who've been with us. We're 3 hours now going forward. 3 hours, 9 until noon. Each weekday, right here. Tell your friends, let them know. We did this so that we can start touching on some of those topics that we just didn't have time to get to in the 2 hours each day. And one of the things we do every single day is we wrap up our program. Not completely. We're not completely done when we do it, but a nice little kiss towards the end of the show to play some of the best YouTube comments of the day. Producer Jason reads said comments. He monitors. He analyzes. He looks into, what are you guys talking about? There you are.
I'm here.
I can see you.
Check 1, 2, 3. There we go. I am here.
Do you want me to read about Black Sheep Plumbing?
You go ahead and read about Black Sheep Plumbing.
Yeah, hey, they are the sponsor of our YouTube chat. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at major expenses. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military firefighters and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Owner John McKinney, he's a Hoosier lifer who takes great pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for your needs today. Speak directly with John, the owner. 675-315-7558, 765-315-7558. 765-315-7558.
Easy for you to say. Okay, first thing we want everybody to do is go into the chat and block 007. Just block that butthead. We'll get in there. We'll delete the guy who was not able to do it. Everybody, everybody, just go in and block Gabe. All right. You know that's who it is. All right. Speechless over there, Rob.
Okay, so you read the best YouTube chats.
Yes, we do.
Of the day.
Yes, I do.
And you pick the people that have commented. And by the way, the rules are you have to behave like a member of decent society. You have to behave with everybody. We have you don't have to like us or agree with us. You can have all sorts of bad opinions about us.
Today's the one day that I was not able to be logged in and able to block anybody, because we've never had a butthead in there's like 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
It's the first time we've had a jerk in the chat that just needs to go, but we'll get rid of them. Don't worry about that.
All right.
So we continue on. We don't let it ruin the fun, because tons of chat going on today. 3 hours, got an extra hour of chat. So
okay.
Makes it fun for everybody. The old man 68, first one in today. Happy Monday, everyone. Let's get this 3-hour show started. Jack the Libertarian. I forgot it's 3 hours today. Yes, but he did remember. He got the whole 3 hours in. C. Mills. Good morning, all. Let's get this third hour going. Also, Double D Barbecue this weekend with Ethan and Robert was awesome.
So a bunch of people went to Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. They had a great time. Got to meet the owners, Dennis, Tina, and producer. I call him producer. He's always be producer to me. Ethan Hatcher, because he was my original producer for the Rob Kendall Show.
Right. Ethan was my trainer when I started WIBC.
Which I guess he technically is a producer, but of course he hosts Saturday night on The Circle.
Right.
And so anyway, yeah, good to go.
Bartelt Farms, waiting to see who first mentions a certain movie because of the date.
Oh,
and MK Dawes followed it up with, will there be a fourth hour eventually? C. Mills, ha. May the fourth be with us all today. Steve Green with an E, adding an extra hour is like daylight savings time, but doesn't suck. Let's go. C. Mills, not much of a competition. Oh, I'm sorry. That was related to a comment that I can't read. Sorry. McLovins. See, you got to go in the chat and you got to read all these yourself. McLovins. Dang, almost forgot. We're on at 9. That's right. Adjust your clocks accordingly. Debbie Holcomb, howdy peeps. Can't wait for 3 hours of Rob and Jason in the new crib.
Oh, yeah.
New crib's having some lighting issues. The lighting issue is that we have a sensor that turns the lights on. There's no light switch. It's a sensor. And at first it was like, well, that's kind of cool. Then realized, wait a minute, we can't have overhead lights on. So I've duct taped the sensor. Hopefully landlord's not watching. And it seemed to work, but all of a sudden it just popped on, and then it now has popped off. So I think the extra piece of duct tape I put on there works. Got to buy the heavy-duty duct tape to kill the sensor. All right, Don B. Rob actually has a 6-minute head start versus the other show. Okay. Deep thoughts. Why do I check those? Deep thoughts. MK Dawes. Who cares about how the show is doing? Rob is here.
Oh.
Again, I got to be careful on those. Jan Hatch, third hour. Here we come. MLM Warriors, good morning at Producer Jason. Can't wait for your segment. Well, I hope it's been worth the wait. Hopefully, an easier setup today. Yes, I did not have to set up today. I came in yesterday, messed around with some stuff. Ethan's coming in tonight. We're going to really tear the place apart, do some fun stuff. It's going to be a few days of the hostage background, curtain background, but we've got some ideas. Maybe nothing, maybe not earth-shattering, but just it'll be better than the black black curtain.
Oh, and these guys, you can't see it from here, but these guys have done a lot of work in here. It looks awesome.
It's our home, so we're happy. Debbie Holcomb, 3 hours till Jason. Right. Thanks for the wait. Deep thoughts. A desk. Nice.
We're pondering just keeping this desk.
MK Dawes. That's like a $29.95 from Amazon. It's awesome. MK Dawes. The black backdrop ain't working. I agree.
Well, again, this is not a permanent thing. We're doing our best as we can here.
All right. Like I said, just ignore the butthead on there. People keep engaging him. That's not good. Courtney Hill. Rob, remember when I won my appeal last year? We're talking about
property
assessments.
Tax bills. Yeah.
Guess what? Now they jumped it $80,000 and doubled my land. Hilarious.
So you think an $80,000 assessment increase, that's $800. Her property taxes will go up $800.
That's crazy.
Is your local government getting $800 better?
Nicholas Pender, guy who cuts my grass. Nick, the lawn manicurist.
Oh, yeah.
Nicholas Pender. Congratulations on the new hour. Thanks, Nick. See you soon. Shauna Smith, I'm watching / listening to you while my son has dental work done.
Go in there and
we'll just pop hopefully the dentist is able to listen as well.
Yeah, nothing says low stress like Rob screaming about property taxes. That's exactly what you want your dentist to be consuming.
Hey, here's a new one. Listener Dave. Now we need to light up the room. Looks like I've been welcomed to the dark side. Apparently you weren't here when the lights came flashing on.
Yes.
All right, we're working on it. Drain the swamp. Isn't that table too high? Or is that Rob?
Let's see what you did. You did a little short person joke there.
Bonbon. Fantastic. 3 hours. Just another manic Monday, but better.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody seems to like the third hour. Charles Ludy. I'm not arguing the principle, but what are the odds of winning an appeal on your assessment? Ours didn't increase by much, but I suspect it's respective to the increased value of the home.
Well, so the way they're supposed to do the assessment is what can you sell your home for, right? Mm-hmm. But they're going off of what somebody else sold their home for.
Right.
So they're just like...
In other words, this iPad could be worth $1 million.
Right.
Unless nobody wants to give me $1 million for it.
If I don't want to sell...
And we won't know until I actually try to sell it.
If I don't want to sell my home, then it's not worth anything. I'm not making any money off of it. So why would I be taxed on something I'm not making? That's what nobody can explain, because there is no explanation for it. The explanation is we want to get as much revenue as we possibly can. That's the explanation.
All right. Steve Green with an E. 1,000 people in the State House is not enough. 1,000 people at all 92 county buildings on the same day, then maybe.
Okay, so here's my question to the people who went to Braun's house over and over and over again, who they got mad at me for telling them you're being used, stop being a useful idiot.
Right.
I thought Braun said he was coming back for all this stuff this year. I thought Braun said we're coming back for more. I thought Braun said he had an ace up his sleeve. Where's the ace up the sleeve? When do we get to see? Because it sure didn't make it this year. Where is all of this? When do we get to see all of this?
Gerald Miller, Dee Dee's Barbecue was great.
Excellent.
That would be Double D's Barbecue in Clayton.
Yep.
Charles Ludy, Double D's Fish and Chips looks amazing. Matthew Jacobson went to Double D's on Friday, got the catfish, hush puppies, and slaw. The fillets were thick and top-notch, great staff, and will be returning.
Excellent.
All right, awesome. Sue Seifert, wish I lived there. Sounds like Saturday was a barbecue fun. All right. Steve Green with an E. I'm going to miss Piper's spots.
Well, Piper owns a business, so maybe he'll advertise the business.
He's going to talk to him.
Yeah.
Deep thoughts. I am going to miss the Piper ad. MLM Warriors. Thank you, producer Jason.
That's it?
You're welcome.
Just thank you?
I just, yeah. Always appreciative. Drain the swamp. Pump up that chair. Rob, actually, I gave Rob the folding chair And I've got the nice reclining lounge chair.
We're getting chairs,
I'm not sure, it's
right?
not quite a lawn chair. It's more of a lounge chair.
Did I understand that right? We're getting chairs?
We're getting chairs, yeah. Yeah, we bought Rob a brand new desk, but we don't really need it, so we're going to send it back and grab a couple better chairs. We'll just pump Rob up. Mad Duck. We want ruthless, railless Rob. Off the rails. Ruthless, railless Rob.
I got you.
Bon. Oh, homeschooling. We quiz each other on the show. Current events, Indiana. Thanks.
Oh, I love that. So people are actually working us into their homeschool lessons.
That is
now.
a good idea.
That's awesome.
It is.
I love that. That's great.
Oh, deep thoughts. I hope producer Jason has a comfortable chair. I do, actually. I'm very happy. Rob knows
it's a lounge chair.
My whole stress level went from like way up here to just no stress at all. I could care less anymore. Deep thoughts. WIBC did not have a YouTube feed today. Why do I keep putting those in there? Who cares? Mad Duck. And kids are coming out of their dumber. Oh, okay. Talking about the schools. And kids are coming out of their dumber than when they went in. Well, I wouldn't. I mean, that's a reach.
Well, I think part of it, too, is like people just don't parent their kids anymore. Like, isn't that?
There are a lot of dumb teachers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, don't you have to like ask your kid each day what'd you learn about, and then you just got to correct them?
I would think changing the word from dumber to more, what's the word I'm talking, more when you're, like a cult, you're
You know the thing.
I
have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds
indoctrinated.
Great. Indoctrinated. Yes, thank you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's the issue, right? Is you've got to challenge your kid. I mean, you should be doing that anyway if they're old enough to communicate with you. You got to challenge your kid on what on what they learn each day. What did they learn? What did they get? What did they take from school? And if their minds getting put full of mush, then you got to tell them no.
Correct. All right, let's continue on. Charles Luty. Avon School District's academic record did not justify last year's referendum.
No, but what do, right? So and this is the way it works with most of the referendums, is they can organize. Mm-hmm. Now, those Avon bastards were really sneaky. Remember they put that video out, and they only let select people know about it, and we got it. We got the video.
Right.
And published it out, but they were totally shifty on how they did that referendum, but they also recognized, hey, the referendum people recognize, or the school people recognize, we got a core group of people who will do whatever we say, no matter how stupid or underhanded or shady or whatever it is. And then it forces the community to organize to stop it. It's just complete. The fact that they even allow the referendums, that's the problem. As long as you allow the referendums, this stuff's going to continue to happen.
Vic Ferrari. $38,000 per kid to be dumb.
That's New York. So if you missed the show earlier, New York is spending $38,000 per kid, and they were not in the top 10 of reading or math for 8th graders.
LD Stoltz, we would be better off investing the money in the market for each kid, and they'd be multimillionaires by retirement.
Yes, I would wholeheartedly. But isn't that the same thing that like Social Security? Like, remember they tried to do that? Bush tried to do that. It's like, hey, if you don't want to get 0% on your money, why don't we let you invest it? And people just lost their minds.
Let's see. Continuing on. Vic Ferrari, make learning great again. All right. Drain the swamp. Don't you get better gas mileage when the tank is full? You were talking about how you barely put any gas in your car to see how far you could go.
Yeah.
And there's some answers to that.
Is that a thing?
It is a thing. I don't know. People are talking in the chat. Vic Ferrari, that's not good for your injectors. Your fuel pump will pick up sediment on the bottom of the gas tank and clog them. See, that makes sense. So you should fill your tank so all the sediments can swirl around and not get...
I have a 10-gallon tank. I was not spending $46 for gas. Like, it's just psychologically I couldn't do it.
But if it's like $360, you're fine with $36 to
Well, no, I'm not fine with that either. But I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to do an experiment for the show to point out how ridiculous gas is of what little I can actually get for $10.
Imbelor at Drain the Swamp. As I understand it, that depends on the vehicle. Something about ensuring the in-tank fuel pump stays submerged, keeping it cooler and more effective. See, Rob? Even on your little tricycle, you probably have a fuel pump. Charles Ludy, there's this thing called the like button. Hit it.
That's right. If you have not done so yet, that really helps our show out. We need you to hit the like button. That really helps us out.
All right, continuing on. Nicholas Kurtz, producer Jason. Good morning, legend.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nick. Rick LaFollette. Could be Rick LaFollette. No, Rick LaFollette. I'm another one who voted against a candidate rather than for one. They're all worthless, greedy schlubs. You were talking about voting against incumbents?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I know people want to think, well, it's some other guy's guy that's the problem.
Right.
No, it's your guy that's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem is people think it's everybody else's guy. No, it's your guy.
Right. Like, we need term limits.
I agree.
But I did vote for my guy the last 28 years. That's typical voter. All right, continuing on. Kathy Eaton McCollop, a new one in the chat. Incumbents are not getting my votes. MK Indy fan, voting for change, tired of aged politicians making decisions for the next generation. Dan Foy, a new name in the chat, voting for Piper. It's not a wasted vote. Tammy Franklin, another new name.
Wait, let's check on that real quick. I think he's right. The people who do the wasted votes are earned, right?
Right.
So if somebody didn't earn your vote, how could it be a wasted vote if the other guys didn't earn your vote? Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. I always hear that. It's like, the wasted vote thing really bothers me because it's like if the other two guys didn't earn your vote or other guy didn't earn your vote, then it's why would it be wasted?
Mm-hmm. Tammy Franklin, I just decided I'm not voting this time. I'm sitting it out. Did not give an explanation, but that's better than voting for people you don't know who you're voting for.
That's 100% true.
I mean, I've always thought that. Spray Jockey, we are lucky that if Rob is taken out by Braun, we still have Jason. Well, that's
kind of morbid.
That's rather dark, isn't it? I'm sure he meant that as in a humorous fashion.
Yes, it's always humorous when it's not you. It's the one on the other end of the...
Probably would have read it the other way around.
Taken out,
right. Yes. Probably looking at me, too. Penny Lucas, I am on my way to vote right now. I am not voting for a single incumbent. I can't afford these people. By the way, my cousin-in-law is Jeff Herron.
Oh.
Go get him, Rob.
Yes, Jeff Herron, the fine state police officer who has had his life ruined for speaking up that Tom Kleinhelter is a dirty, rotten piece of garbage, and the prosecutor should have gone with the 80-page probable cause affidavit.
The old man, 68. I'm only voting tomorrow for a county sheriff. Everyone else on the ballot is only in it for the financial interest. I believe, and I could be wrong, I think old man 68's from Du Bois County, but I could be wrong on that. Drew in the chat, I believe in Jason. Deep thoughts. Producer Jason needs my comment.
That's it?
It worked. They're figuring out the algorithm.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yes, I am the algorithm. You can call me Al.
Yes, very good.
Vic Ferrari. See, this is great. What time is it? It's only like, we got another, 15 minutes for chat?
No, we do not have that long for chat. I have some other things I have to get to.
Oh, okay. Well, we got several minutes then. Let's see. Vic Ferrari. Okay, so you're talking about, what was your topic here that you were talking about? Us. You were saying something about us.
Well, I don't know.
About believing in us. When you give your heartfelt, hit that like button, share and subscribe and believe.
We were saying that, I was talking about voting, and I said there's nothing to believe in with these people. And I said people come here every day because they believe in us.
Vic Ferrari, in quotes, something to believe in. Poison.
Oh, yeah.
Darcy Cameron. See, we like uplifting, fun comments, everybody having fun except the one guy. This show today is why I listen to you. And Darcy's a new one. You need to remind everyone every election. Thank you, Rob. LD Stoltz, lesson of the day, be a human.
That's right. That was the other thing.
Human.
These candidates they do not know how to human. They do not know how to connect with regular people. They get so caught up in their little bubbles and the things that they talk about. It's like, this does not resonate with regular people. It does not resonate. Let's learn how to human.
Let's see. Continuing on. Deep thoughts. I wonder if Kennedy got Piper's message.
He's gone to Washington several times.
Somebody needs to tell Robert Kennedy. Is it Robert? Does he say Bobby or Robert?
Bobby Kennedy.
Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to tell Bobby Kennedy about
Piper has been to Washington several times.
Okay. Hopefully he got a hold of Bobby. Deep Thoughts. Idea for Rob and producer Jason to put the ads on a separate video on the YouTube channel. He means, I think, post them.
Oh.
Like Piper. This way, I could email the video to Bobby Kennedy.
Oh, I see.
See, there we go.
Everybody's great at giving us more work to do. Have you noticed that?
That is, video's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Audio, just, like a couple minutes and you've got it posted.
People are great. They're like, hey, you should do whatever.
You got to export it. You got to upload it. You got to do all that stuff. Mad Duck. The data centers they're plunking everywhere is for the implementation of digital ID and digital currency. Understand that. So what they're saying is you keep saying that, we need data centers so we can do this show. Well, we were able to do this show without data centers, right? So what they're saying is, I think the consensus is because politicians are so poor at communication and the data center people are so poor at it, that everybody's like, well, the only reason they have a data center is to take the information on us, use AI to use that information against us. Kind of like,
but they already have all the information.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not arguing. I think just you're saying that just to use Google and YouTube, well, we got to have data centers. That's not really what data centers are for. Is what people are arguing. Like you'll still have YouTube and Facebook and all that without a data center. Because nobody knows, so they make a good point because nobody knows.
Well, right, but I don't think they understand. We are dependent upon a data center. Like the use of YouTube, like the amount of, again, this was our industry for a while, right? The amount of space it takes to do this show, the streaming for the people that are watching, and the level we're streaming at, and then multiply that of millions of people across the country. And some people, have way more viewers than we do. Yeah, you need data. You do need data centers to pull this off.
MLM Warriors, Rob needs to learn to upload videos to YouTube. He mentioned he had a video from the past year he wanted to put on the channel.
I don't know.
I do all that for Rob. So I tell him we can't put videos up. We can only do, because that's just more work for me. Vic Ferrari. The problem is everybody and their grandma thinks they've got to have a podcast these days.
That's right. It's you people and your podcast. That's the problem.
MLM Warriors. Thank you, John Rust, for the third hour.
Yes, thank you, John Rust.
Possible. Deep Thoughts at producer Jason. Did the camera get zoomed in on Rob? Yeah, the camera. We've had 3 different. Am I even in there? Yeah, we've had 3 different. We started way back, and it looked like he was in a hostage video, which it still does. Moved a little bit forward, and then screw it. Let's get it up there, and let's get a nice little frame going.
We're trying all sorts of new stuff here. We will get it all figured out.
Well, that curtain won't be there.
All sorts of changes are coming. This is trial and error at this point.
Debbie Holcomb, live show. Woohoo! That's right. We're going to announce the
yes, with the live show tomorrow. Yes, we'll announce that tomorrow.
I've got a live show coming up.
Where at?
The Chili Waters. It's
where?
A place called Chili Waters Brewing Company.
Okay.
It's on 135 and Olive Branch Road. I'll be playing some guitar and singing on, is this May? May 17th. It's a Sunday from 4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Wonder if we could get anybody out there to check that out.
4 to 7, Sunday, May 17th.
I'll be
Chili
out there
Waters.
playing all the hits.
Where's it at?
It's Chili Waters. It's a new place, a new brewery down in the Center Grove area in Greenwood, which would be, it's Olive Branch Road and 135.
Okay.
So,
all right.
That'll be the 17th coming up. See if we can get anybody out there. Mad Duck. All the airlines are on death row. Shrog Samich. My Spirit Airlines experience was traumatic and I was left stranded in another state along with no luggage, expired vouchers, and literally they said to a bunch of elderly people, figure it out.
You know where you don't lose your luggage?
In your car.
In your car. That's right.
In your van.
That's horrible. That happened to that person. I hate that. But this is why I'm against the flying. There's too little control. You lose too much control when there's too many people that have access to your life and your stuff when you're on an airplane.
Steve Green points out why everybody else complains about the prices. Steve Green, with an E, points out airlines suck because they choose volume over quality. It's too affordable. not everyone should be able to fly. Kind of the same argument people make about Vegas. Vegas is now so cheap that you get all the people that walking around with their...
I got you.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
That does make sense. Adam Baltus, I wouldn't put a client on a Spirit or Frontier airline. They would have to request it.
Oh,
Adam Baltus is a travel agent.
He's the pro, Baltus Travel Service.
Right. Mad Duck, killing the airlines is the beginning of destroying our ability to travel. Our cars are next. That's with gas prices.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be walking.
On.
I'll just have to live here.
Right. Spray Jockey, Elizabeth Warren sold $20,000 in shares of Spirit. No, $20,000 in shares of Spirit 2 weeks ago.
I saw that. I've not verified if that's true or not. I bet it was more than $20,000.
Well, 20,000 K, maybe 20,000 shares.
Could be.
Sure.
I don't know. I've not verified that. I saw that post on the internet, but I've not seen that verified.
A new one, 66 Illin. Rob is getting his news from Yahoo and AOL these days.
Well, they're still legitimate news sources, right? What year is this?
Yeah. Vic Ferrari, hey, you don't talk to producer Jason like that. The chat will come for you.
Oh, that's when you threw the books.
Yes, you tried to reprimand me. Nicholas Kurtz, stop yelling at producer Jason. Thanks, guys.
All right, I got some stuff to say, so you got 1 minute. Get all your comments in.
Okay, let's see. Well, fortunately, we've got 2 comments left. See, you give me a little extra time. We get through it. Get everybody in there. Everybody gets to participate. Darcy Cameron, new one. Elizabeth Warren sold her Spirit stock 2 weeks ago. She is Nancy Pelosi Jr. And we'll leave you with one final thought from Mad Duck. Thank you, John Rust.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. That's the chat today. Brought to you,
Jason.
By Black Sheep Plumbing.
Thank you.
All right. Get out here and let Rob finish up the show.
All right, guys. We want to say thank you for a great first day, for being with us as we go to 3 hours. And obviously the goal is to get you more content, more stories, keep all of our local stuff, which has been the focus of the show, and keep that going for you guys, but also add in these important national stories, things we just didn't have time. If you haven't yet, please hit the like button before you go today. It really helps us with the algorithm, helps us grow on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button. Let people know that you like the show. We also ask that you share the feed. Let people know about us. Again, our goal in doing this and adding the extra hour is to grow our voice, to be able to get to more people, to talk about these issues, to get in front of people with these issues so that they'll be educated on what's going on with Indiana news and politics and government, and now some of our national stuff as well. So we put this in your hands. We leave it up to you guys. We really believe in you, and we think you'll help us continue to grow. So thank you for being part of a first awesome 9 weeks. And we look forward to many, many more times together and being able to grow together and expand this program. And so just thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So we will see you back here tomorrow. Big announcement on the live show tomorrow. We'll tell you guys where we're going to be and where you can see us in person. Thank you to you guys. Thanks to producer Jason. I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.